I think that's a great point as well. While at a higher level, you are kind of compelled to learn some theory, the quickest way to learn theory is by making sure that you understand the moves. That's how you memorize things, not by memorizing just a list of moves that are unrelated to each other, but really by understanding why they're played. So keep those comments and questions as well coming. It is game 15, so we don't have a lot of time, but we will take the good ones.
Thank you very much, Simon and Anna. And the fun does not stop there. Welcome to another installment of commentary here on the Pro Chess League. We are covering the Central Division, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined once again by my partner in crime, sister from another mother, makes sense, Jen Shahadi.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to get started here with the Pro Chess League Central Division, which is going to be starting up in just a few minutes. We've got some really thrilling players and matchups. And again, thank you to Simon and Anna for doing such a fantastic job covering those matches. I see that the results were very close. Norway crushed and Magnus won 4-0. Do you think anyone else is going to get a perfect score here today in the Central Division?
Don't know, it's tough to say. I mean, I remember when I was covering this last year, the Marseille Migraines were a huge... okay, we're going to just put your sound up a bit. The Migraines were a dominating force with the likes of Maxime Vachier-Lagrave playing for them. He will be back this year. Obviously one of the best players in the world. It's great to have the best players in the world. We've just seen Magnus Carlsen as well turn out. So literally all the best players in the world love to play this tournament because it's a great tournament to play. What they're going to do today against Reykjavik Puffins? Well, are the Reykjavik Puffins going to get wrecked? I'm trying to
Reykjavik, as you say.
They were a big fans' favourite last year, Jen. You know, they were doing some Instagramming of them playing live and built up quite the following back in Reykjavik. And, you know, they're obviously big underdogs against Marseille. Anything can happen.
Well, yeah, that's going to be one to watch, I think, in the beginning for sure, because we're going to want to see if it turns out to be a massacre or actually a really close match. You really never know in the Pro Chess League.
You absolutely don't. The thing I like about this division, and perhaps the reason why I am commenting, is because two London teams are in this league. Two London teams. We've got the Towers and the Lions, much like last year, which is great. And a lot of my friends are playing. And I want the London teams to do very well. One of the teams, the Lions, has got the Stockholm Snowballs, which were actually, the Stockholm Snowballs were quite an underrated side last year, and they did pretty well. And I think they're going to do well again this year. And they've got the likes of even Bador Jobava, who's a bit of a wild card this year, heading up their team, which is great. And then they've got Georg Meyer, who's just an unbelievably strong, rapid player online who normally never loses. Then you've got Agnes as well.
Absolutely. Like a phenomenal VIP last year as well in the league. So I'm really excited to see his games as well.
Yeah, he's going to be great. So, I mean, the Lions are, you know, they're a decent team, but they're a young team. It really depends who turns out for them this year. But they have got on their books Luc McShane, Romain Edouard. They've got Grandmaster Jean-Pierre Leroux and newly crowned Grandmaster Daniel Fernandez, as well as a bunch of top English IMs, Adair, Yang Fan, Justin Tan, and Ravi Haria. So, you know, they've got a real bunch of strong young guys, and they're going to be a test for anybody. As for the other London team, they're playing against one of the new sides in the league, the Ljubljana Turtles, who are, you know, just, you know, if you put this team out in the Olympics, they would just come, you know, sort of middle to top end of the whole tournament. They are just a beautifully balanced team of 2650 to 2550 GMs, you know, making up the the backbone of the team. Plus, of course, a couple of younger players at the end who are going to be propping up the team. So the Ljubljana Turtles, they're going to be, very difficult to play against. And then we've got also the other London team, which is the London Towers, who are, for many, the stronger of the London sides because they're headed up by David Hull and Gawain Jones, amongst others. They've basically got the top English players in the league, in the country playing for them. Jonathan Hawkins, Nicholas Pert, top four boards. Then you've got Garcia, Pert, Arkle, who did pretty well last year, the stalwart Grandmaster Keith Arkle, Roberson and Rendell and Ansell. So going to be all to play for. And then we've got Amsterdam against Cannes very, very quickly. Amsterdam against Cannes. Amsterdam headed up by real locals, Van Vele, Smeets, Spolman and Klein, Quinten du Carmen and Miguel Admiral, amongst others. And then the Cannes Blockbusters, not as strong for many as the other team, but still a very, very decent side. All Grandmasters on their top five boards. And they've got Valentina the Destroyer Gunina as a free agent this year. One of the strongest female players in the world. I can tell you I've received quite a beating from her, and I don't mean in the pleasurable sense in any way at all. She has crushed me in live chess. Absolutely crushed me. So
well, yeah, I mean, she really made a big mark in your own town, right, Lawrence?
One of the best performances ever by a woman chess player. By
9 out of 10. Yeah, it's really exciting to see her playing for the Cannes Blockbusters, and the two females right now on their roster for today. So that'll be really fun to see. I love to see more women in the league this year, including of course Ho Yifan, who was playing for the Chess Bras. But in the Central Division, we've got a lot of female talent, and it's great to see. There's, of course, an incentive. If you have a woman on your team, you get a little rating bonus.
Right.
So that really helps. And that's why you see a lot of free agents, female, because they can add a little bit more firepower to their team if there's a woman on one of the boards. So I love it.
And just so people are, a bit, if you're unclear about how the league works, well, it's similar to last year. The number of teams have been cut down, but essentially it's a kind of, you'll see in most major sports events, it's a knockout event that then progresses as teams move on through the divisions, and then they'll play off against each other if they qualify from their respective divisions. And big prizes up for grabs. Big prizes. In fact, I'm going to put a little graphic on. Now, I understand that the prizes are slightly different this year, but you can get a kind of grasp for what we're looking at here. Sort of in the region of 20,000 for first, 10,000 for second, 3,000 for third and fourth, plus a whole bunch of different prizes for top female and top rating band player, best moves, best games. All of these prizes going to be offered again this year. So, that's absolutely brilliant. Such a great prize fund for an online tournament, Jen.
And it looks like we have some games underway, Lawrence. So let's take a look. It seems like the Ljubljana Turtles have started their games. As you see, Turtles, we see Michelangelo and Donatello.
So it's quite nice. So all of so they're all named after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is nice.
Yeah, well, 4 of them are.
4 of them are.
Yes, but let's get into the games.
Which one do you want to go to first? Which is your favorite turtle? Which was your favorite turtle?
Well, we've got the Turtles playing one of your local teams.
Sure, but which is your actual favorite turtle character? Were you a Michelangelo or Donatello?
Let's go to Donatello. That's the purple one, right?
Yeah, we've got Donatello here. That's Yuri Borisek, aka Donatello. Now, funny story about Yuri Borisek. I've played Yuri Borisek. We're about the same age. He's a very strong grandmaster. Played in the European under 10 or 12 championships many, many moons ago. Guess what? I was a piece down. And do you know what I used to think back in those days? Doesn't matter if you're a piece down. Just play on. So I just played on against this guy who's much higher rate than me. And I managed to get a draw against Yuri. After which he then crushed me in various games. But in terms of the first encounter, that's how he did. Now, obviously, very strong grandmaster playing against the one and only Thomas Rendell. Thomas Rendell, ladies and gentlemen, I've known for longer than I can remember. Very, very talented player. Didn't reach his full potential. I think he'd agree with that. He's still got time, needs to do a bit of work, but top bloke. Now, what's going on in the game here? It looks as though Yuri's got a fantastic position here with black. I mean, it just
we got a Joko piano played by Thomas Rendell.
Yeah.
Just a very quiet system with D3, not really attempting to get some kind of massive edge right out of the opening, but rather just kind of chill. And yeah, as you say, that doesn't turn out too badly for black, as it seems totally fine for both sides. Are you saying that you'd even prefer to play black in these games?
Well, I mean, after e takes d4, knight takes d4, I mean, that's not the sort of recapture you look for in this kind of system, right? So I'm just curious. Well, the first thing I'm thinking is, well, hold on, there's a big pawn here on e4.
Can you just take
it?
it?
He did. He just took the pawn. I mean, it looked a bit fishy, I have to say.
All right, so he just took the pawn. So what's yeah, that is a good point, Lawrence. I mean, what really is the idea here? There's got to be a tactic with maybe knight takes. Maybe he wants to play knight c6, and I mean, I don't see any immediate tactics to win a pawn back.
The rook is defended, so there's no tactics. I think what Thomas did, I don't know why, very uncharacteristically, after the move d4, after h3, h6, I don't understand the move d4. In Joko pianos, you really have to get your knight on b1, develop to d2 very quickly.
Now he has taken on c6, and he's hoping that he's going to get a little something by, misplacing that rook on a7, and also there's a small weakness on c6. But is it enough for a pawn? Doesn't seem likely, does it?
Doesn't really seem like this is full compensation here. That said, I mean, I've seen worse positions, but I think Donatello strictly in charge there. Let's go to another game.
Yeah, let's take a look at another game from a turtle, Luka Lenic, who's playing as Michelangelo.
Michelangelo, okay.
He's also playing black.
Playing here against Blair Connell, who's much the underdog in this 2255. I know Blair, good guy Blair. Pretty much.
Yeah, but don't forget, in the Pro Chess League, the way it works is that the board one plays against the last board.
Right.
So we see a lot of lopsided matches in the first round. So for those who like blood, tune in at the beginning of the rounds. And of course, as the match progresses, we're going to see the boards one face off in the final game. So yeah, what do you think? This one is...
I mean, if anybody's better, it's black. That's absolutely clear.
Yeah.
7, looking to castle long potentially. But white is he's just about right, probably. Although I would take black every day of the week here. This square on d3 especially, it's such a beautiful square sometimes for a knight to land on, especially if the knight comes via e5, and you can get it to land on d3. That's that can be good. No, but if anybody's better, it's black. But so h3 knight g5. So we'll see how that one works out. And then we've got how many more? We've got
yeah. Let's see who else has started. It doesn't seem like all of the games have started yet.
Let's go back to the Splinter game, because we didn't.
Oh, we haven't looked at that yet. No, we're just getting started with all these games. So yeah, let's take a look at the last matchup between the Turtles and the Towers.
So we've got this game here, Splinter, aka Pavasovic, the Grandmaster, playing white against strong English IM, Peter Roberson, and we've got a major piece endgame where it's clear that white is the one who is pressing here. The problem black has is he can't contest the only open file, because white would be happy to exchange queen for 2 rooks, and in these positions when you've got the 2 rooks with so many pawns on the board, it really is much better to have the 2 rooks than the queen. I didn't like Pavasovic's last move. I don't get that at all. Why would you go b5 here? Why?
Well, he's just trying. I guess he's trying to get rid of his double pawns,
They're
but
actually good double pawns. I mean, this.
because it stops something coming in from it stops something coming into c5 potentially. That's true.
Yeah, and it controls a5, and it's just nice. I mean, in this position, I would have probably maybe just brought my king towards the center, king f1. King f1. Maybe I would even start to look at shuffling these rooks to pressurize the c5 pawn. But b5 feels, I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like it somehow. What is it?
Well, what do you want to do for black?
I don't know. I might get going with this e-pawn, to be totally honest. I'm and say, if I can get in e3, I might start disrupting you.
So you just want to play e4 here? But that
also it introduces the idea of
you can't play f5 yet, right? So I can try to just round up your pawn.
No, but I also introduced rook e5, right? So e4 and rook e5 is a threat. Winning this b5 pawn. So
okay, so I have to maybe take some time out and actually take on a6 before.
Okay, you take on a6, I take back, and then where do you want to go?
So you're saying that if I play like something like rook d4, you're just gonna go in with a e3 right away?
To go e3. Wait,
and e4 was played. So
he's played it. So I think that's a good move.
After a little think, he goes for it.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see. I do think I need to do this rook e5 threat really compels me to take on a6 before anything else, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to take. So takes. So let's put this takes, and then.
I know he's actually played rook e1 to start off, Lawrence. So what's the idea with this after rook e5? What's his plan?
Well, rook e5 just looks like an absolute equal. Rook e5, queen somewhere, d4 or something. So rook e5, queen d4, I'll take on b5, and you take on e4, and nothing really much to say. It's 2 versus 2. That's solid enough, and I just see this being completely equal. He took on b5 here. Slightly surprising. I thought his idea was to go rook e5. But he took the pawn on b5. Still should be okay for black, I think. Although now it's getting a little bit dicey.
But hey, big news. We've got the Cannes versus Amsterdam battles, which have just begun. As you can see, these games are staggered slightly. And actually, I got to say, Lawrence, that the openings in these games between London and Ljubljana aren't like the most thrilling. There's been a lot of early trades. So let's move on and see whether the Amsterdam Cannes battles are going to be any crazier.
Well, should we
can
go
start with Quinton's Durkheim's game against Valentina Gunina, as you were praising Valentina.
I was just about to suggest it.
What's that?
So we've got a 2 knights carrow, and we've got a very standard position here where black is happy to trade a bunch of pieces, and black basically says, okay, I understand you've got the 2 bishops, I understand you've got more space, but I've just got no weaknesses in my position. I'm just solid as a rock. And I think you've got to be slightly sadistic to be able to enjoy these positions with black. Because for me, I've always played the white side of these positions. You've got more space, you've got the 2 bishops, feels like you've got the prospect. But the number of times I've been schooled by a Russian GM, by an old school Russian GM on the white side here is quite fantastic. I've been outplayed. The likes of Rausis and so on have just done me in. So, you should never really lose this position with white, but winning them is not so easy.
So just a quick note that I am monitoring the Chess.com and Twitch chat when I can. So if you have any questions or if you want to chime in with your own thoughts, please do. I do see that we're getting a lot of requests to keep our eyes on Valentina's game. So if it continues to stay interesting, we'll certainly honor that.
Absolutely. So yeah, keep those tweets coming. The obviously the messages, as Jen said, on Twitch and chess.com/TV. I'm sure she will be able to read the top messages out. And so in this particular game, yeah, we've just got a very standard position where I like white, but that's because I like these positions with white stylistically. Not really much going on though, so maybe we should go to another game which is slightly more interesting.
Okay, yeah, let's keep moving along
Let's move along.
the games on this match. Absolutely. Take a look at Matthew Cornet's game against Ali. Let's take a look at that one.
Yeah, so we've got Ali Bitalstadeh with white, who is a very talented Iranian international master, white against another guy I've known for many a year, Mr. Matthew Cornet. French grandmaster, been a grandmaster since I can't remember, and sort of been swimming around the 2600 level as well for a long time.
And his wife is on today's lineup as well. So
his wife is there as well, exactly.
So this is an exciting
situation, Jen, when you're playing on the same team with your wife or your husband, and they lose the match. It's all their fault. Is there some kind of in-house disciplinary action, or?
Oh God, no. If anything, I just think it's very nerve-wracking. I think it's more nerve-wracking watching the game of somebody you love and really, really want to win than it is to play your own. So I think it must be difficult if one of them finishes first. They have to basically close their eyes for the rest. I can't even imagine.
I don't know about you, Jim, but I've never been in the spot either where I have to play my other half. This is why I steered clear. I looked at the greater world, because I just thought, my goodness, imagine you're playing your other half in a serious game of chess. It's a lose-lose. You can't win, right? I mean...
Well, they don't have to play each other. They are in the same team, Lawrence.
True. That's true. They're never going to play each other. All right. So
they'll be fighting for MVP. That perhaps.
In this game, though, it's clear that Mathieu is probably doing okay. He's just played the move b5. We've got an English opening, which is, black's got a lot of space, clamping down on this e4 square, and the c4 square. Black would love to get in the move a5 if he can on the next move, which leads me to believe, does white have to play the move pawn to a4 here in order to not allow black to play a5? Even a5 might be possible here, curiously. I haven't calculated it. But at least with a4, well, even that, maybe you can just take it, right? And if I take back and you take on e4, that's a pawn. So, yeah, so maybe this isn't, knight a2. Ugh.
Knight a2, the choice.
Rank.
You don't like that?
Oh, it's rank. He's pretty
rank. Okay, rank is like some kind of slang. I don't get it. One thing that is juicy to me here is the c4 square, and I think that's why you were trying to undermine the b5 pawn with the move a4, because now that you've left me a moment to chill, knight b6 followed by knight c4. Meanwhile, by the way, preventing you from playing this a4 idea looks juicy for black.
Yeah, and there's knight b6. I mean, I would be playing knight b6 kind of instantaneously here. I wouldn't be spending much. Yeah, and he's played it because you want knight on c4 anyway. So you just play it and then see what happens.
And there it is. We do see the move knight to b6, and we're liking black in a lot of games. I guess with this time control, 15 minutes, it's normal that. We see a lot of early advantages for black as well, because, there's not enough time to hunker down and remember theory or try to recreate it over the board. If you're not prepared, black can just be good right away. Let's take a look at another game in this match, Lawrence, between Maxime Lagarde and Miguel Admiral. Let's take a look at that one.
Yep, so this is the game Just MIG against Reykjavik. So black, and we've got a position again of pretty calm, no fireworks just yet, it seems, in any game. Pretty calm position here. Probably about level. Black has got the two bishops, but white has got a lot of pressure along this b7 pawn, And after rook d8, threatening a nasty little bishop takes f2 trick. White is not going to fall for that. Miguel is going to put his queen either on c2 or e2. Of that, I'm almost 100% certain. Or b3. He's going to get the queen out of the way, that was for sure. And yeah, I would say it's in the balance here.
Yeah, normally we would like having two bishops, but that knight on c5 is just so powerful that it really compensates for the fact that black has two bishops in the position. This move rook b8, attempting to dislodge it though, with just the b6. If the knight really does have to just sheepishly go back, maybe I will like black all of a sudden.
I do like rook b8. I think rook b8's a really good move, actually. Really good move.
Well, it defends the b7 pawn as well, and it prepares to play b6. So multi-purpose move. That's always what we're looking for in chess. And yeah, I gotta say I like black in this game a little bit as well.
Yeah, maybe actually now it's one of those positions here with white where improving your position is actually relatively difficult. And there's still a few tactics. He's played rook f1, which is the first move that comes to mind. But now if I get kicked after b6, I'm putting my knight, and that's just okay, is it? Maybe. I mean, yeah, I think black is taking over the initiative here, though, somewhat. So, okay. Well, I also do believe here, Jen, that the next games have kicked off as well. So we've now got a gazillion games, if we so desire. Have we actually had any results as of yet? Well, we have had a win here. We've got a win for the London Towers, the only decided result so far. I'm not sure exactly what, but we have got a win. So 1-0 to the Towers.
All right, but there's another game going on that looks very promising for Ljubljana. I was just looking at the game between Luka Lenic and Blair Connell, and it seems that black has invaded into white's position, and it's got to be good for black. There's that rook that's going to be coming on to the second rank quite soon, Lawrence.
Yeah, no.
So if you want to pop over and look at that, I got to say it's black.
I'm here now, and you're right. Luka has taken over control completely of this game and is doing very, very well. Yeah, I mean, superb position. Knight d2 is a nice move. I guess the whole you can't take on d2 because if rook takes d2 check, so bishop takes c6, king takes c6, and this is grim. To defend this with white is really, really grim, and I really expect actually Luka to win this quite effortlessly against his lower-rated opponent. So.
Well, he doesn't have to take on d2. He could just play king e2 and prevent the rook from invading. But black's still going to be a lot better. And also, look at those white pawns, right? I mean, you've got those three pawns, and e3 is weak. E3 and h3 are potentially weak as well. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult defensive task for Blair Connell, who also is a minute down on the clock. So looking very promising here to even the scores for the Turtles.
Yeah, I don't believe that that white's going to make a draw. So,
and meanwhile, there's also the game between the other turtle, Donatello, who is also playing with black and also looking like a very dangerous position for white with that advanced pawn on d3. But is there counterplay here for white?
Well, hold on a second. Whoa. Hold on a second. Can white play something tricky like rook a6 here?
Rook a6 threatening bishop g6 check, followed by rook to the back rank on a8 mate. That is a quite tricky indeed.
He's done it.
Thomas Rendell has just played rook to a6. Can't we just play like, so what's, because if we just play d5, you just sniff off the pawn for nothing. So in order to stop the mating threats, we might have to play g5, but then you simply play bishop g6 check, and we're dropping that pawn on d3.
Disaster for Borisek here, playing black. Donatello.
He's forced to play that move g5.
He's done it. And check. King will come to g7.
And white will have a massive advantage. Will he end up winning the game? Probably, but he is down on time, so black will fight. But I think this is going to go
I think this,
Black has got chances here, you know, with the rook.
yeah.
A very dangerous combination, but
But let's move on because this is probably going to be
Yeah.
probably going to go in the direction of the towers, but might go the distance. So maybe we'll come back to it at that point. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, more games have begun, so we can pop on over to those as
Sure.
the Stockholm Snowballs are underway in their battles against the London Lions, including an MVP from last year, George Meyer, who's playing against Ravi Haria in the first game of the Lions. So who do you like here?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Ravi Haria is arguably the strongest talent we've got at the moment in the UK. Put in some phenomenal performances. He's had some big scalps, 2,600 plus Grandmaster defeats recently. So this is going to be no park for Georg. That said, of course, he is a huge favourite. And the position, looking at Georg's position here, I do like Georg. I do like Georg's position. I think he's got a very, very decent King's Indian attack, basically, with the black side, where it doesn't feel as though white has really got what he wants in these positions. Not to mention a move like knight d4 here, rook a d8. Any of these moves look strong. Knight d4 looks particularly strong here, actually. I don't like it for white. Sorry, I don't like it for Ravi. So really depends. I also like rook a d8. Georg has got a few ways he can play this, but I do like it. And I'm checking out the Twitch chat. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're on Twitch, if you're on chess.com/TV, they're saying to me that they can't hear me, so I'm going to bring me a little closer. How about that?
I think they can hear you. That maybe the sound is low or something on you, and
Okay.
yeah.
Hopefully
But,
now
yeah.
I'm a bit more audible, because when we did the test, it was all good. And apparently Santiago can hear me. And okay.
Yeah, and now we've also got another husband. We've got Evgeny Agrast playing on the Stockholm Snowballs against Justin Tan. And so taking a look at that game, it looks quite interesting, actually. We've got a Caro Khan and, okay, some trades occurring now. This very compact pawn structure on Black's king side. Why do you have to take back with the pawn, Lawrence? Was there something wrong with taking back with the queen? Or did he just hope that maybe the B file would eventually come in handy?
Yeah, it didn't look like there was anything particular.
Wrong with queen takes c6, right? Strange.
Yeah.
But I still think that Black has some nice activity here. Note that White has to be really careful because there some back rank pressure, right? So if your queen goes off to play, we would have queen d1 mating, right? So a little bit of pressure here for Black. And maybe Black will try playing something like h5, h4, nibble a little bit on g3. Perhaps that's the whole reason that Black decided to take with the pawn on c6, just not lose any time on the potential attack. What do you think, Klein?
Potentially. And maybe he thought actually that the play down the B file would be quite good here. So what I'm going to do is, apparently I am struggling to be heard. So guys, in the meanwhile, Jen, I'm going to bring up a position for you to analyze. How about that? How about we look at a game we haven't looked at yet? By the way, Thomas Rendell did beat Yuri Borusek in that game. So
great.
Win.
Good job.
Huge win for Thomas Rendell. Huge.
Well, we can stay on this Justin Tan Agrest game too while you try to fix that if you want. Just the move bishop f5 played, which I like because that bishop on h3 really does seem like a thorn in White's side. So White trying to trade here, and indeed Agrest felt compelled to make that trade. So after bishop takes f5, queen takes f5, can Black do anything with the temporary
advantage of having just much better placed major pieces. G6 played, I'm going to force the queen backwards. Probably, okay, queen to A5. I'm tickling the pawn on A7. So I think that black will probably play rook D7 or rook E7. And somehow with the white king being a little bit weaker, I think it might be a little easier to play with this with black, but most of the pieces being traded could peter out, especially if, for instance, there's a queen trade at some point. So F5 played by Agrest, trying to perhaps play I'm not sure exactly what black's plan is going to be here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think
a queen on D3 and then play rook E2 at some point. That could be a little bit annoying with the king on G2 and a little bit of air created by F3 and G3.
Yeah, potentially. By the way, I just want to check my sound now. I've got a feeling it's a lot better now.
Oh, okay. You made some improvements?
There's an echo now. Oh, marvelous.
Yeah, that might be something to do with like the speakers.
Yes.
You might need headphones instead of your speakers.
Let's try. I've got a spare pair of headphones here. Okay. I'm just going to use the headphones. How about this, guys? Is this working now? We're in a cave. We're getting the Twitch chat is going ballistic. How about this? Because before it should have been it was working perfectly before. So there we go. Hold on, have we got some thumbs up in the Twitch chat?
Now they're saying that you sound better and I sound worse.
They're saying perfect. Yes, now it's great. Jennifer, speak. Okay, let's hear Jen speak.
Well, let's get back into the games then.
Okay,
we've got oh, and look at that. We've got the final match of the day, starting between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Bjorn Thorpenson. Of course, that's one of the matches we've all been waiting for, the Puffins versus the Migraines.
Yeah, this is an absolutely huge match. Puffins against the Migraines, not because on paper it should be close, but because it's got some of the best players in the world playing here. So people are complaining, Trent's bandwidth, Trent's this, Trent's that. I think we're all good though, guys. So relax, chillax. All right, we're all good. We are all good.
And we've got Maxime Vachier-Lagrave playing right now, which, as I mentioned, he's going for the D6 and E5 idea. And this will be a full-blooded struggle for sure. Is he gonna bite the bullet and play G5 at some point soon and try to move his knight on F6 and then go for F5 and really open it wide? It's gonna be a fun one. Now we've also got Etienne Bacrot against Bragi Thorpenson, and I only see one move in that game so far. So
yeah, I mean, yeah,
there must be some kind of technical issue from Bacrot's side.
Yeah, let's have a look at the back row game, actually. And for all of you wondering, let's just go there. We've got Baki 83. And yeah, it says that he's got a very low connection. Don't know what that's about. And if people are saying, hey, what was that German music? That is the stuff that allows us to do all of that. That's called advertisements, guys, on Twitch. And that's what allows this whole thing to run. Without the ads, we are nothing. So, sorry for that 20-second advertisement in German. Okay, so back, where is Etienne? Etienne is not there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's, Etienne is not there, and it looks like he's already down 4 minutes on the clock. So will this come back to haunt him in a match where he vastly outrates his opponent? That is not a promising start for the huge favorite, the Migraines. And Lawrence, and in a way that's good for us because we really want this match to be close. We want all the matches to be close.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
Let's look at some of the games which are really
in the heat of the battle.
Yes.
It looks like WIM in Agras for the Stockholm Snowballs is in big trouble for board one of the Lions, Romain Edouard. And that is a very lopsided match by rating. Remember, all of the lopsided rating matches are going to happen in the first round.
Yes.
So it looks like she's just down a pawn, and to boot, Black's pieces are just like super powerful, right? Like,
yeah, this looks like a
even
disaster.
made a 3 check could be a potential threat here, right?
Yeah, no,
maybe not right now, but all of this stuff is in the air.
No, this is absolutely horrible for white. A4 is not going to change much. You can go B4 here for a start. I would be playing B4 almost instantaneously, and he's done that. And now the problem is if white goes knight E4, that runs also into F5. This is absolutely horrible for white, for Ina, who, by the way, you know, she had a really, really good year last year. She's put up real good fights, and you know, playing all of these top players. She's not to be underestimated. She can bring home a very good amount of important points. So there we go.
Also for the Snowballs versus the Lions, we have Eric Blomqvist versus Daniel Fernandez. Let's take a look at that game. That looks very exciting, with Black's king still in the center of the board on move 23.
Wow.
So it's some kind of dragon where Black did not bother castling. And, you know, Lawrence, that is usually pretty dangerous indeed. He's just played G5. Now he's attempting to trap the bishop with rook G6, right?
Yeah, actually, you know what this opening was, Jen? This was a Dragadorf.
Ah, the Dragadorf. Okay.
The Dragadorf, a Simon Williams favorite, where you play A6 and G6. You combine both the Najdorf and the Dragon, hence the name the Dragadorf. But this has gone terribly, terribly wrong for Daniel, whose king, as you said, is stuck in the middle. White has just got this one issue of potentially losing a piece. If you can resolve that, you're doing great. Now, what on earth?
And isn't there some stuff also? There's some stuff in the air with Bishop E6 and Rook D4 potentially. You always have to watch out for that kind of business. So definitely a dangerous position indeed. And Eric is now taking his time trying to find the right continuation for white because he smells blood. You know, there's a lot of weaknesses in this position with the king on E8, and he's like, is this the moment where I can put him away? You know, you got to look for moves like A5, maybe distracting the queen from the defense of E6. That could be annoying.
Yeah,
because
A5's interesting.
For instance, A5, queen A5, bishop E6, takes on E6, rook takes D4. Suddenly, all my pieces are coming to attack your king. Very dangerous possibilities here for Black.
Wow, that's a great suggestion. Let me put that on the board. So A5, queen takes A5, bishop takes E6, F takes E6, and then you want to rip Black's giblets out, Jen. Like it was, you know, just straight out the stomach. Rook D4, E4, and rook E6 check. Just come to Papa. And if king F7... you want to just take this guy off. I know what you're like. You want to go rook takes F6 here. King takes F6. I hope you're following. And now knight E4 check. And just claim that you're winning here because Black's king is just in the crossfire. I don't know. So all of this kind of variations could happen. These are all very...
It could, but, you know... Eric found another move.
I like this move. I like that as well.
Another very logical move.
Yes.
He played H4 with the idea that when you play the move H4, you're not worried about your bishop getting trapped on H6 anymore because you're going to be able to just take back on G5. So Black felt compelled to take on H4. White played rook H1 and then knight C5. But so we moved our rook away from the E file, which is a little painful for me, Lawrence, because I was really having fun with that on the E file.
Yeah, but I mean, the position still looks rank for Daniel. He's trying to get some counterplay.
The word of the day, right?
Yeah. I don't know why I started saying ranking, and they said that about 25 years ago.
What do you have against ranks? You just you like files better than the ranks?
I think it's just an English. We just say rank for something that looks disgusting over where I'm from.
For me, I think rank is only referring to smells, not
really?
anything else.
Okay,
that's how I feel. But That's an American thing, you know.
Maybe.
You gotta take your cues from the American language, Lauren.
Yeah, I should. That we should definitely learn. I think, you know, your commander-in-chief, he could teach us a few things about how to. Anyway, we won't go down that road.
But big news, Bacrot has entered the building. Etienne Bacrot is here.
Oh, he's here. Wow.
He showed up, I think, about 5 minutes late, at least 6 minutes maybe.
Oh.
But he's here, and he's playing fast, of course, now. And it's a Benoni.
Wow.
4 pawns attack by Bragi.
It's not even the 4 pawns attack. He's taken it one step further. It's the 4 pawns attack is here on move 5, guys, after the move pawn to f4. Bragi has decided to go what we call OTT and shoved every single pawn he could possibly think of up the board. He's put Harry up there. He's put Gilbert up there. He's put Francois up there. He's put them all up there. F4, that's a beautiful, and it all makes sense as well. This looks very weakening, but White would love to get in the move G5, and that would be a fantastic structure for White to have, especially after G5, for example, takes, knight H7. This knight would be super passive on H7. The knight on D7 is super passive. As long as White can keep hold of that E5 square, I actually really like it.
You really like it? Yeah. Well, I like the strategy here. You know, Bacrot shows up late. You just play the most aggressive line and try to go for it. That's what you got to do as the underdog. We know the Puffins have amazing team spirit. And unlike your prediction, they're not coming in here to get Reykjavik. So I love the start of this. Meanwhile, let's check in on the star of the day, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. And
let's do it.
You know, visually, I was looking at the position. I was like, wow, I like White here too. Because it looks like Black has created some weaknesses and White has invaded with the queen. But then I noticed this knight on f1, and the bishop on g3. The problem is White's minor pieces are not part of the action. If they were, White would be way better here because he's got the queen in the game and the king is weakened. But both of these pieces just are doing nada.
Yeah.
So how can we change that, Lawrence?
I mean, the problem we've got here is, we've got this very famous bishop here. I think I'm going to get slam me in the chat, boys. Here's going to show my ignorance. Was this the Capablanca bishop, the one that's shut out here via the slightly different? It's a slightly different bishop, but basically this bishop on g3 is useless, and Black has got just the most pleasant position you could ever dream of here. Domination of the open file. Ready to go f4 and make this bishop look even more stupid, as well as this knight. So here you could even think about taking it, which he does. Queen takes d1 and f4, and this is just utterly gross. Just go f4. I mean, MBL's going to go f4. Just no question. Yeah, he just does it. I mean, of course he is. And after bishop h2, well, if you take it, look, I mean, this is... I'm gagging a bit at this bishop because you can never really get... Oh, no, he's gone e4. Do you know what I'd do here? I would seriously consider just trying to win some pawns now on the queen side. I would want to win this on the queen side. That said, e4 might be a good move because he wants to go f3 and reroute the bishop back to g1.
But Black is certainly in control here.
Oh, yeah. Massive position.
And a little time advantage, and of course the massive rating differential, 400 points. But let's see if Bjorn can hold them off. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know.
No.
Meanwhile, there's a game. Oh no, that's not.
Well, we've had some results, so we haven't. It's been a pretty slow round, has to be said. It's been a pretty slow round so far. Thus, we have had a result in the London Towers match. The Towers did beat the Ljubljana Turtles, and that's a big result for the Towers to win against such a solid side. Big shout out there to Thomas Rendell. That was really the key match. Thomas beating Yuri Borisek when he was massive underdog on paper means that the Towers have won there, and the Lions are also winning 1-0. Come on, the London! Come on, the boys! Can I be partisan? Is that fine?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Wait, which is your favorite London team, Lawrence?
Chelsea Football Club. Carefree, wherever. Anyway, I'm not going to sing the songs. Yeah. I don't have a favorite between the Towers and the Lions. I don't. I just want those guys to do really well. So we'll see what happens. Okay, well, look at this. I think Bjorn has done brilliantly to try and get a bunch of pawns off the board. He's still miles worse here. But, you know, fg4, bishop g4, king f2. How bad is life? You know, how bad is life? Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. I'm not sure. Looks like it's okay. fg4, bishop g4, king f2. Try and put a knight on f3 and say, you know what? I understand I'm worse, but at least I'm fighting. And that looks like it's what's going to happen. So we'll come back to that. Arashi has beaten Tokras, which is actually that's a very big result. Ali Bitalzadeh beat Mathieu Cornet with the white pieces. Huge result there for Ali. So means that actually, look at this, Jen. The Lions have actually drawn their match 2-2 with the Stockholm Snowballs, and the Mosquitoes are 1.5, 1.5, meaning there's one game going on in the Cannes Blockbusters game, which is going to decide it. Now, can I locate that game? That is the question. Who is the remaining game there between the Cannes Blockbusters and the Amsterdam Mosquitoes? Is it, who is it?
Lagarde and Admiral?
Could be. And I need their names. I need their names. What are their... I've lost their names momentarily. Is it this one? No. Nope, that's actually going back to another game. Let me get off that for the moment. It's not that one. I cannot find it here in my list, Jen.
Yeah, I think it might be already over.
Might already be over. Well, the spreadsheet hasn't updated, so we'll wait for that. In any case, the Lions... Oh, hold on. The Lions have beaten the Snowballs. There was a slight mistake there. The Lions have beaten the Snowballs, meaning both London teams have won their first game, and the Puffins against the Migraines, all 4 games, apparently
still underway, and it looks, of course, difficult with definitely Maxime Vachier-Lagrave pushing in the end game, and Bragi and Etienne Bacrot. We can go back to that game. Remember, that was the 4 pawns attack where the 5 pawns where Etienne started with a 5-minute disadvantage on the clock as well, and good on Bragi that he has kept that advantage. He's got a really strong pawn on d6, but this position just looks really wild, Lawrence. It's hard to really predict about it. White is down a pawn, but again, they've got that really strong pawn on d6. And wait, what's going on? White's down a... White's up an exchange for...
It's a really just mad position.
Pawn, but there's also another pawn hanging on f4. It's really wild.
As you might have said from time to time in your career, Jen, I think White has gone all in here. Or maybe Black has gone all in. I'm not entirely sure who's gone all in, but it looks...
I mean, that pawn on d6 looks really juicy, though. So I don't know. I kind of like White. I mean, it seems that, especially with the 5 extra minutes, if you allow me to count that, I guess Etienne right now is trying to play like knight b6 and knight c4, maybe round up that pesky pawn.
I think he's trying to round up this pawn on g5. Actually, I think he just wants to take on f4 twice and take on g5 now with check.
Okay, that would be really annoying. Maybe we need to play bishop d5 so that when you take on f4, we can take on e6.
Yeah, I like bishop d5, but he took on b5 first.
That's fine.
Unless, is Etienne? No, surely he's not going to take on f4 here. Surely he's not going to be so bold to take on f4 without taking back on b5.
But if you take on f4, can't we play like knight takes f4, bishop takes f4, pawn f4, and then like stick a queen on d5 or something?
Yeah, and then maybe, so you want to go knight f4, bishop f4, ef4, and queen d5.
But that gives you time to recapture on b5, so disaster has been averted for sure.
Yeah. Maybe I give you a check, and then maybe take on b5 with the rook.
Okay, so maybe we should play something different. Maybe instead of something more aggressive, like after knight f4, bishop f4, pawn f4, rook e7. Can we do that?
That I like, actually, quite a lot. Though...
There's a possibility of bishop f8. But yeah, this
Boy,
is just absolutely
just
wild.
madness.
We gotta keep our eyes on this game.
Well, he took on b5, and
so
now
after a little think, but you know, Etienne doesn't have a lot of time to think.
No,
Lauren.
he doesn't. He doesn't.
He's got 3.5 minutes, and this position is absolutely wild.
It's nuts. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess he's going to go bishop d5 here to try and lop off this knight. Though we'll keep an eye on it. Still no results. Let's go back to the MVL game. And MVL slowly but surely trying to grind down. But I can tell you, Bjorn played Bjorn. He is way underrated. He is really, really a fantastic player. Got other things to do in his life, hence why he's not achieved what I think he can achieve. But massively underrated. Wouldn't surprise me if he held a draw. Wouldn't surprise me, because actually, if I just keep bishops on here, if I just keep bishops on as Bjorn here and put the bishop on e1, how does black ever win? Ever. How do you win here with black? How do you break through? Because my knight...
You're right, Lawrence. It does seem like there's definitely some drawing chances here. Meanwhile, Jules Mossard versus Helgi Olufsen. We've got the OG Helgi. Love it. Repping the seniors crowd here at the Pro Chess League is playing against Jules Mossard. And I think that this game still looks pretty balanced.
I'm going to have to try and locate that.
That's the game between Anoel and Scrapnel.
Helgi Olufsen, yeah.
Scrapnel, a rhymey matchup. But the game, I got to tell you, that game that really is intriguing me to no end is the Bragi game between Bacrot, because he did play this move.
Okay, let's go.
Aggressive move, bishop d5. He said this could be the biggest upset of the day if Bragi could pull this off. That's almost 300 points. And I like this game for white, and he's up 6 minutes on the clock. 6 minutes, that's huge. So what's the idea here? The problem is now when I get my rook in e7 and all those variations we are going to look, it's a disaster. So if you were to play knight f4, bishop takes f4, pawn f4, now when I land on e7, I land
that's
a massive thud.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much for any man to handle.
Bishop d5 is a wonderful move.
I like it. It's good. It's good.
And look at this. Etienne is going under 2 minutes as he suffers. He really wishes he had those extra 5 minutes back now, Lawrence.
He does. I don't know what he was doing. We'll have to get somebody to tell us after the match is finished. Maybe even Etienne. What on earth was he doing for 5 minutes?
So maybe he played knight f8 with the idea that after takes on e5, he wants to just take on g5. What do you think of that?
Could be. No.
But those two pawns are massive.
But yeah, come on. Surely I can just take on e5 here. Why can't I just take this? And if knight takes g5? I mean, I'd rather have this e pawn than this g pawn. Just like rook a7 or something. I don't know. Looks absolutely...
Rook a7, you're threatening...
I'm not threatening anything. I might not be threatening anything. I'm just gearing up for like queen g4 or something. I mean, black's position is just falling apart here. Black is just toast.
I mean, those two pawns, it's not a good... Sure, my king is open now, but it can't be a good trade to have that pawn on e5. Queen g4 played by Bragi also looks like a very good move.
No, this is it. Rook a7. Here we go.
Rook, knight e6, rook a7. And now even things like rook f7 are in the position with the idea that if rook f1 check, and then we take on e6, and it looks like you're just falling apart. Yeah,
and then king g2 and rook h1 mate, for example. That sort of stuff does exist here.
Or we could probably do something chill as well if we wanted to. This looks dead. But let's watch it. Let's watch the blood fall as Bacrot gets punished for his tardiness.
Yeah, he's getting punished for his tardiness and for not respecting the 4 pawns attack, a.k.a. the 6 pawns attack.
And here we have it, queen b6. I mentioned earlier.
Take on f7. Just do it. Do it for the fans.
And then after king f7, rook f1 check is the idea.
Yeah, you can even take on e6 first, right? Bishop e6, knight e6, then rook f1 check. Because it might even be more forcing to take on e6 there. He's done it!
He did it. Rook takes f7 has been played. King takes f7, rook f1 check. We're going to see...
I'm dancing on stream. You're not watching, Jen, but I'm dancing. I'm dancing to that move. Yeah. I'm pumping.
This is a real exciting way to finish this match. And now there's a cool line that if king g8, instead of bishop takes e6, you could go rook takes f8 with the idea that the knight can't recapture because it's pinned. And if you're forced to take back with the rook, I've got queen e6 check, and then I can go back to h3 mating.
Wow.
But instead, he played king e8. Now we'll just play, I think, the traditional looking bishop takes e6, because if we played rook f8 now, you would have knight f8. So bishop takes e6. Yeah.
Remember, you're not even an exchange down here. You've just given it back. So.
And when you play king d8 in these variations, we just have the check bishop g5. No muss, no fuss.
No, this is just hopeless. This has got to be over. C4
he
check.
Played c4 check. You got to get that spite check in, Lawrence.
Always, always get in the check. The only difference between this and a real game of rapid chess is that if you didn't see that check in a real game, you would be defaulted for the points, because according to laws of chess, you can, if you make an illegal move, you can lose the game. However, online, it's very difficult to make illegal moves. In fact,
rook f2, calm.
Never made an illegal move.
Calm and collected here, rook f2. And now rook b7 trying to stop immediate disaster.
Just bishop g5 here. I would just be getting that bishop out, because d7 check would be a threat, followed by bishop f7. I want to cut this king. I don't want to allow this king. I mean, it can't really run anyway. I mean, anything wins. Anything wins here. Just do something sensible. Maybe even a move like bishop to d5. Just dropping back.
Queen c8.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a nice one, Lawrence. Bishop d5 threatening queen c8 looks pretty powerful indeed.
Bishop d5, rook d7, and
I still think we have these rook f8 ideas on rook d7. Oh, we can't because we're pinned. Excuse moi.
We can't. But again, it's the beauty of playing online is you wouldn't even be able to play that move. It just wouldn't let you make that move. Yeah.
It wouldn't let me lose, thank God.
It wouldn't let you lose, yeah. So
instead after rook d7, what would we do?
I would just be bishop f7 check.
Rook
what a
f7,
hero!
queen c8 check.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Lovely way to finish off the game here. King d8, rook takes f7.
Beautiful. That's it.
And now, not only is white just up in exchange, but how's he going to deal with the fact that his bishop on g7 is protecting the knight on f8? Bishop takes e5 leads to rook takes f8 check, and white's just up a rook. And I think we can expect that Bacrot will resign pretty soon. But I'm glad we kept our eyes on this one, Lawrence, because this could be the upset of the day.
What a game! What an unbelievable game! Really, really, really beautiful. Really,
bravo to Bragi. I mean, some of these moves that he just played so confidently against a player 300 points higher rated than him. It's really instructive and inspiring. Love rook takes f7, and I love how he just played bishop to f7 check, trading everything to win the game.
By the way, it seems as though Maxime Vachier-Lagrave does what Maxime Vachier-Lagrave does and actually won that ending. I'm not quite sure how he won it, but he did win it. And so that means that the Marseille Migraines did chalk up a point there. This game here, Bragi is just going to win this. We're going to give him time to win that, meaning that will be 1-1, and that would mean that we would have to look at the other games, right, in this particular matchup. We've got Mathieu Cornet. No, that game is actually from another match. So who is actually playing in this Migraines versus Puffins? Let's see.
Well, we checked in quickly with the Helgi Olufsen game against Jules Morzard, and then there's also the last game, which is Gredarson versus Marc-Andrea Maruzzi, who's a very young talent. I saw the FIDE profile. He was born in 2007, Lawrence. So he must be one of the youngest players playing on the Pro Chess League.
Is that Arna Rowley? Is that Gredarson's name? I think it is. Yes, it is. So I've got that loaded up now. Okay, so these games are going to be crucial then. The Gredarson game and the Olufsen game. because we're going to be 1-1 in the Puffins versus the Migraines match. And what's going on here? What's going on here? It looks as though Mossad has got a good position. Looks as though Mossad is in control here against Olufsen. Because if ED4, CB7, White's just going to come down with the rook next. And if you have to go knight A4, I'm going to go ED4 here. And White has just got just an amazing position. This bishop and this pawn on the 7th. It's just end of game. I think this might be end of game, actually. Because you can't move the bishop because of C7. No, this is just over, actually, isn't it? This is just completely over. This is just completely over, I think.
That is unfortunate indeed for the Puffins, who are certainly no doubt going to be celebrating the upset victory, but can they do anything in the match? It's all going to rest on the shoulders of Grederson then.
Yeah, let's have a look at that Grederson game. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on here. And Grederson, or as friends know him, Hjopi, is one of the biggest talents in Iceland. Well, one of the biggest talents that Iceland has produced in many years. Has got a full-time job, though. I believe he's a lawyer by day. Young guy, fantastic guy. New dad as well. He became a dad pretty much probably around the same time you became a mum, Jen. So,
really?
Yeah,
January 3rd.
Very young guy. Maybe it was even into the last year. Can't remember. But let's have a look at this position. Well, it looks as though Maruzzi is doing unbelievably. Looks as though he's got he's outrated by 500 points. And, sorry, 600 points.
But clearly the Migraines had some logic to this pick. I imagine that he plays rapid chess much higher than that. If he's achieved this position, it's certainly an indication. But Lawrence, he's only got 1 minute and 50 seconds. Grederson just played E5.
Yeah.
Immediate bishop E3. I like that. Got to play pretty quickly when you've got a 2-minute disadvantage. Takes an F4, bishop takes F4, staying active. He's going to try to see if he can. He'd like to maybe play E5 and E6. But first things first, let's get that knight on B1 into the action, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you want to put that knight, well, queen B4, okay. So here, I mean, the knight's gone back to C3, which is absolutely fine. And I think it's just a very kind of level position. I don't see, the knight, White's got a very nice structure on the queen side, blocking everything. Knight to C5, okay. Now can White start to get frisky with queen G4? Queen G4, now I'm attacking your rook and threatening bishop takes H6. Is that possible?
I like that idea, Lawrence. Knight C5 has been played.
Knight D5, also a very good move. Because now after bishop D5, E5, we have got a very nice pawn here on D5. Knight D3, but can we, oh, knight D3, hold on. Okay, A3. Queen's going to come back somewhere, probably to C5. He's taken on F4. Well, now I can take on... Oh, I didn't like GF4. No. I didn't like that. Now your king's weak.
GF4, well, maybe our king's weak, so maybe we should try to trade queens with queen E5. Instead, he played rook to D4, but C3.
Yeah, no.
That rook's getting into the game.
No. This is going horribly wrong.
This could tie it up for the Puffins. Grederson trying to win this game so he can get a split 2-2 score. And I think he's going to do that because rook A4 and our pawn on A3 is hanging as well, Lawrence.
Yeah, no, this is.
And the problem is that after rook takes A3, well, we can't play queen F4 check and then take with the bishop because you do have rook G3. But still, the F4 pawn is going to be forever a problem.
Yeah, this is just disgusting. Such a shame.
Well, unfortunate there.
Yeah,
that the youngster played very well to get to that position and have. Just a game that could go any direction, but it has gone in the Puffins' direction, and that looks like it's going to bring the match to 2-2. Meanwhile, we've got other games starting up. So,
okay, where do you want to go?
Gosh, let's take a look at George Meyer's game against Justin Tan. So the Snowballs against the Lions. It looks like the queens have already been traded in a Caro-Kann with opposite sides castling. So we can always come back to this one. Doesn't look like the most insane game yet, although it could certainly get very interesting later on because there's still a lot of imbalances to be had here, Lawrence.
Okay, so who else have we got?
Roman Edouard playing a Grandmaster, Roman Edouard against Erika Blomqvist, now underway as well for the Lions and the Snowballs.
Okay, we will check that out.
This one looks pretty interesting.
Okay, we got Muggsy.
Some kind of ready opening. It looks like Black has just played the move h5 because Queen d2 threatened to take on h6. And now visually it's very appealing to me for White because that pawn on d6. But if you do the counting, you'll see that White is down a pawn. Do you think White has enough comp here?
Well, I mean, hold on a second.
We're down a pawn. We're trying to play something like knight e4 so that you're forced to take on b2, queen takes b2, and then your dark squares are super weak. In a rapid game, this could be difficult for Black. I mean, maybe in a classical time control, you figure out a way to defend against all the threats, but I find this idea is very dangerous to play against practically.
I have a feeling that White should be okay here with best play because the bishop on c8 is kind of tied down to the defensive b7 pawn. d6 is permanently weak, being backward on the d file, and I just feel like White should have enough. I think there should be a way for Black to give back the pawn, but I don't see Romain having any problems here whatsoever.
You don't see White having any problems, but you don't see it as being like super exciting for White either.
Yeah, I don't see it being super exciting as well. I mean,
Bishop g4 played by Black.
E1.
Immediate rook on d to e1.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's kind of a little dance there with the rook starting on d1. Now rook to e1. Note that bishop takes b7 is a threat because the bishop has moved from c8 to g4. So he's kind of like dancing around a little bit. But now the idea of I'm just like I can't wait to trade off that dark squared bishop because it gives me some control of the dark squares. So I keep wanting to try to play something like knight e4 or knight d5.
Well, here knight d5 looks supernatural. Bishop takes b2, queen takes b2, knight d4. But you might start getting into trouble here after moves like rook to e4. And there are all kinds of exchange sacrifices that are very dangerous as well. So yeah, I like knight d5. I think White is doing absolutely fine. But we did get a draw in that Puffins versus Migraines match.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense because the youngster faltered towards the end, and thanks to Bragi's fantastic victory over Etienne Bacrot.
Yeah, so great start for the Puffins. Are they going to pull off the surprise of the round and beat the Migraines? What a shock that would be.
Well, it's going to be difficult because remember that they did start with a 5-minute edge, which was huge in game 15. So I think that it will be tough, but if Bragi keeps playing like that, then anything can happen. Now, another game we should take a look at is the Turtles playing against the Towers.
Okay, where do you want to go?
That game looks like it's going to be pretty tight.
Which
got
turtle
Luka
do you want to
Linic
see?
trying to get revenge on Thomas Rendell, who
let's go there.
White is up a pawn in this endgame, and it looks like very promising chances for him to convert here.
So we've got a game here. Tommy Rendell in big trouble, obviously playing the black side here, pawn down. But, you know, the good thing for Thomas is that actually winning this is not easy whatsoever because the more pawns come off the board, the easier a draw it is. In fact, I would be I would be more inclined to think that this is more of a draw than it is winning for white. The reason being that I think it's very difficult for white to really make a lot of progress. 97, for example, here. Oh, I don't like going backwards with the king. That's already that's already something I don't like. Yeah, I wanted to go 97 to be able to go knight d5 check. The king ever came to f4. Now black is a bit. Now Thomas has gone a bit too passive for my liking.
Meanwhile, Pavosovich on the turtles as well looks like he's just about to crush Amigazi on the towers as he's played this move bishop to e2, knight takes e2 would fail. Instead, it looks like Hamid felt forced to sacrifice.
Well, this is just over, isn't it?
Exchange, and now it's just totally over with 2 extra exchanges here for black. That's not an imbalance that you see very often, and for good reason, because when that imbalance occurs, it's usually time for white to throw in the towel. Nice move, c5. This seems to end the game quickly, because what's going to happen is we're going to take on d4, and we're going to get to play bishop a7 at the right moment, and that's just going to end the game.
Yeah, no, this is just nothing to talk about here. Very interesting comment by Percy Hepworth. I won't read it as it's not suitable, but very true, Percy. Basically saying that another whole London team aren't playing the Pro Chess League because they're all commentating. I think that's referring to the likes of me, Simon Williams, and perhaps some others who are on the mic here. But yeah, very, very funny indeed. Thanks for the comments, guys. Keep them coming in the chat.
Yeah, somebody says that Marseille Migraines is the worst team name. I don't know. I think it's pretty funny because it's referring to what you're doing to your opponents, right? But I guess for people who do suffer migraines, maybe it's not as hilarious.
Yeah.
And indeed, that game has gone down. The Ljubljana Turtles have scored a victory, much needed, as they did lose 4-2 in round 1. I mean, they lost in round 1. Now they're getting closer with that victory.
Yep. And MVL has restarted his game, playing against the hero of the last round, Bragi Torfinson, who, for us, Jen, so far, that's been the most spectacular game by far.
Oh, absolutely. You know? Yeah. And we've got another game we should check in on, because I know everybody, a lot of people wanted to check out the games of Valentina Gunina. And she looks like she's doing pretty well in this battle against David Klein.
Whoa. Well, I don't know. I mean, is she? Her king looks like it's a bit ripe for a little.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Sure. I mean,
I think she's playing black. Yeah, I guess actually she's in trouble. I think I misread that at first. I thought that she was playing white. Okay.
94. Well, knight
E4. 94. It looks like the material is even, but white's got first crack against the king. And
well, hold on a second. Whoa. What is 94? Now I can play bishop e3 with black. Pinning. Why didn't he go knight c4? I thought his idea.
It's not easy to stop it, is it? Because if
you can't stop it.
Yeah, so you might have to just keep checking me. You can't go. No, you can't go to c6 because I have queen c3 check, man.
Okay.
So if I play queen g7 check here, you're forced to kind of go to the back rank.
Okay.
And I don't think you can go to c8 because then there's knight d6 check. So actually, it's still really not clear.
Maybe d8 saves it though. Well, yeah, maybe it's not clear. I mean, I would be a bit worried here with white.
And bishop e3 has been played. Well, yeah, but black was really on the back foot there with a lot of difficulty. So she's just happy to play a move that is going to force white to try to come up with something, and it might only be a perpetual.
Unbelievable.
Queen g7 check, can't play king c6. King c8 looks like ill-advised after knight to d6 check, bringing that piece closer to the game. So I think queen g7, as you mentioned, don't go to e8 because then you also have knight d6 check again, but simply go to d8, and actually white doesn't have any minor piece checks after you play king d8, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you're forced to like just try to check with the queen, maybe to like queen to f8 check, right?
Yeah, and then king d7, and then I'm not sure. Actually, Queen F8 might run into knight E8. Let's put that on the
98,
board.
okay. So you want to try, where do you want to go instead?
Well, maybe I have to go Queen F6. Check.
Okay, Queen F6, because then you have to keep moving the king. You can't actually play knight block. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe I brought good luck to Valentina, and she's going to save this one because it didn't look too good for her when we opened up the position. David Klein's struggling now to find some way to keep his advantage, but he's leaking time under 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
David Klein, and you know what, that when they start leaking time in a position where there's a perpetual, that often ends up bailing out and heading towards a draw. So exciting finish there, but doesn't look like anyone's going to steal the point. But
he has to find Queen F6. I think anything else might lose actually. Because
so because that, as you pointed out, that 98 move looks really good.
He found it. Okay, I think this will be a draw, so let's move on.
Currently, we've got actually, after 2 rounds between the London Towers and the Ljubljana Turtles, it's tied 4-4. So this could be the match of the day, as these teams just seem super well matched up. We saw the Puffins are also tied up against the Migraines, but that's after only 1 game, and of course a massive upset which helped the Puffins keep pace. Absolutely. But now the toughest battle, Bragi Torbjornson, after the game of his life,
amazing game,
the rapid 15-minute game of his life, is now playing against an even stronger opponent. This time he's playing against MVL, and this time he gets the black pieces. So no 4 pawns attack. Indeed, instead we have some kind of Roy Lopez with.
Yeah, we have basically a Steinitz variation, sort of new age Steinitz with an A6 and kind of a hybrid of various lines, and MVL playing in his normal dynamic style, just played the move 94. And I guess the big question is, what do you do after the move Bishop G4 here? If you're
just trying to pressure. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not a. I kind of like what Bragi's done here in the opening.
Yeah, I like it.
Really, it seems like he's really came to play in the opening. So well prepared. Bishop G4 seems quite annoying because you're just threatening to take on B4 with the knight. And obviously, Maxime's intent was not to retreat the bishop or anything like that. In any case, if we did that, you could just take twice and take on b4.
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what MVL is supposed to do against this move. Maybe this actually reminds me of the position I had against Vladimir Kramnik at the Isle of Man tournament last year. And very, very similar if you look that up. Except that Kramnik's bishop was on b4 rather than g7. So the pressure against my d4 pawn was much less. So I don't really know what's going to happen. So I believe that Bragi is just contemplating. He's gone king h8. Now that move looks a bit too arty for me.
I don't like it because bishop g4 seems so... seems so obvious. I think that Maxime might take some time out and stop bishop g4 because that just looks like a beautiful opportunity. We are getting some great chats here into Twitch. Intelligent One makes a very intelligent comment that we need more female players. It's hard to get my niece interested when all she sees are guys. Well, today we do have a lot of women playing in all the different divisions and a lot of women commentating as well. So hopefully that will pique her interest. I totally agree with that comment. We also have G Moves, who says that if I could give myself one bit of advice to my old chess playing self, it's that the openings do not matter. Learn principles and the openings will be easy. I think that's a great point as well. While at a higher level, you are kind of compelled to learn some theory. The quickest way to learn theory is by making sure that you understand the moves. That's how you memorize things. Not by memorizing just a list of moves that are unrelated to each other, but really by understanding why they're played. So keep those comments and questions as well coming. It is game 15, so we don't have a lot of time, but we will take the good ones.
We certainly will. And let's go to another game then. We'll see if Etienne Bacrot actually, against Bjorn, manages to score a point after a pretty disastrous first round against his brother, Bragi. And, well, White is a bit better, but once again, Jen, hardly, anything to write home about here for Etienne Bacrot. Maybe ever so slightly better, but you got to say that Black is doing absolutely fine here. Equal material, got control of the only open file, must be fine for Black.
And H3 was played by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and now Bragi, he played knight takes d4, so he's got some tactical ideas in mind.
Whoa.
Although, when I see this move, knight takes d4, I'm like wondering what king h8 has to do with that.
I think it's because after knight takes d4, knight b6, there are some bishop takes f7 checks, a la Fischer versus...
Okay, so after knight takes d4, the idea is just to play knight b6. We're attacking the bishop on c4, and we're also attacking the knight on d4. And that's exactly what happened. Knight b6 and immediate bishop b3. Now, which way is he going to take back?
He's going to take with the queen. He's going to take with the queen.
Yeah, because if we take back with the bishop g5 is a bit of a nuisance, isn't it?
Or bishop h6, one bishop move. Now MVL, I'd be very surprised if he plays the move bishop e3 here. I think he's going to more likely, the natural moves here look like the move queen f3 or queen e2. I mean, I guess you could play bishop e3 and just claim that your position is, you've got knight g5 in the air so much.
Yeah, but we could take on e4 and then bishop takes b6. Was that really a great trade for you?
Well, yeah, probably.
I don't know. I feel like the knight on e4 is more powerful than the knight on b6. So as Black, if you don't have a death blow after bishop e3, queen e4, I'm going to be happy with that exchange.
What if we take on d4 ourselves and go bishop h6?
Oh, if you take on d4, yeah, just go for the endgame. The endgame actually looks dangerous, I think. I think MBL might just do that.
Yeah, because, these sorts of endings after bishop h6, bishop g7, takes.
Or maybe bishop back to f4. Note that.
Yeah, also.
That pawn on c7 is a weakness. And what's really the weakness is not the pawn on c7, but the fact that if you move the pawn to c6, we have bishop d6, which is super annoying because it's going to dislodge your rook on f8 and allow us to play bishop takes f7.
Yeah, or knight g5, which is also in the air, which is very, very nasty. So yeah, this is an unpleasant initiative actually that Bragi's going to have to try and quell if he does in fact face queen takes d4. So we'll come. B-Man has offered a draw. He has offered a draw. The cheek, and Leon Beast has declined it. I would be very surprised if MVL were to take the draw there.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit strange, isn't it, Lawrence?
Yeah, very, very strange. Very, very
Maybe Bragi thinks that he's doing well. He doesn't think that Maxime has sufficient compensation. So he's like, doing that I don't know. But looking at those lines like queen takes and bishop h6 and bishop f4, it looks very dangerous indeed for Black. Queens come off the board, but it's not quite the end game.
You know what that move is, to use poker terminology, Jen? That is a blocker bet. That is a blocker bet, that draw offer. That is basically saying, I'm not really sure where I stand. I'm going to put a little feeler out there, see where I'm at, and see what you do. If you raise me and go all in, I don't know what I'm going to do. And if you don't, I'm happy with just taking it down now and making a draw. How about that for an analogy? First time ever used.
All right. I don't think it's a blocker bet that Maxime is going to be thinking too long about calling, though.
He's going to call. He's going to play queen takes d4 and bishop h6.
No, he's going to not call. He's going to raise.
He's going to raise it up.
Yeah, raise it up. I know. Okay. I know. We know MVL.
Yeah, he's in
the top few players in the world for a reason, and he's done it. Bishop takes d4, bishop h6. It's so tough when you think that your problems are solved because you've reached an endgame, and then you realize the problems continue. Bishop f4 has been played.
I like it, Jen. I like it.
Yikes. We can't play knight d5. Look at the power of those two bishops.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Black has the two bishops too, but White's two bishops are coordinating so well.
Yeah, I really like it. I really, really, really like it. Okay, anywhere else you want to go to? Well, let's see if Etienne Bacrot will. No change there. We'll move straight on from that game until there's
no change in the Etienne Bacrot game you mentioned.
Yes, yeah,
you still think it's
very, 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 very level. Easy hold there for black. On paper, of course, you never know. In the game between Gretarsson and Musa, we have a very, very intriguing position here. This was a Nimzo Indian. This is the match between Arne Rowley and Annavel. And Kyopi's got a bit of an issue here because he can't get castled with this queen pinning this bishop against the king here. So that's kind of curious. I don't know. I mean, could be very dangerous though for black. Sometimes actually, if you if we go back a move here, if black takes on c3, queen takes c3 and tries to get cute with a move like rook e8, maybe white can just castle anyway. Because after queen takes e2, I can take on f6 and then play rook a to e1, and my queen is actually trapped here on e2. That's quite a cute little line, if it works. Nevertheless, let's see what happened. Queen g6, so black actually allowed white to castle anyway, and I slightly prefer white here, I guess, although don't ask me about Nimzo Indians, Jen. I don't know about you, but don't ask me about Nimzo Indians.
Okay, what do you think about the Nimzo Indian? Seriously, though, we've got the third round of the Towers versus the Turtles going on. And
okay.
As I pointed out earlier, that match is as tight as can be. So
that is tight.
We could take a look at the game between Juri Borayek and Amit Ghazi as that one gets underway. Looks like it's going to be a real full-blooded struggle. Remember, Lawrence, that as these battles go on, the rating differentials between the players get smaller and tighter, right? So this is a case where we're going to see a lot of really, really tense matches as the day goes on. I gotta like white in this line, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I prefer white ever so slightly, but this is a typical caro that they play nowadays with black, where you can, if you go to move 7 here, I'll just show people at home, going h5 and g5, you can just about do this in any line with either color nowadays. And I know we were talking about principles before, Jen, in the opening. Don't move your flank pawns. Develop your pieces towards the center. You know, when you get to a certain level, you know, when you really understand and master certain positions, you can afford to do this. And this is one of those positions, especially when the center is closed. You have more of a liberty to throw your G and H pawns down the board. And I actually think that Amit is doing actually okay here. I would take white, but it's not by much. I think Amit's got quite an initiative here on the king side. And I just want to point out as well, it seems as though the Ljubljana Turtles board number 4 has not turned up today. So if you've all been wondering, hold on a second, what's going on here? It looks as though there's been a default from the Ljubljana Turtles side. So they will probably get 0 out of 4 unless a miracle happens, and perhaps that's the reason why it's a bit closer than it should be between the Towers and the Turtles. So,
well, a much needed victory for the Snowballs by Evgeny Agrast, who just seems like he won a crushing game against Ravi Haria against the London Lions, and that was an important victory, as that match looks like it's going to be quite close as well.
That looks like it's going to be. They're all actually, there are no runaway favorites at the moment. They're all pretty much in the balance, with about the halfway stage here in this particular match.
Right, and with the Turtles and the Towers actually going towards the second half of their matchups. Another game that just started. Posovic is playing against Blair Connell.
Yeah, we can have a look at Blair's game. If I can find it here.
We also should move back at some point to Maxime Vachier-Lagrave's game against Bragi Thorfinson, as it looks like somehow what happened was, you know, we started off with Bragi being up a pawn, and
you know what? I
Now
really
Maxime
like.
is up a pawn. So
Yeah,
he
but
actually clipped the c7 pawn and clipped the e6 pawn, which used to be the f7 pawn.
he did. But you know what? I really like what Bragi has done here, because even though he's allowed white to win a pawn, he has managed to coordinate all of his pieces. Now he's got a good knight on d5. The bishop on b2 is very good. And he can even think about just clipping this pawn, whacking this pawn. Whacking this pawn. They never say whacking enough. You know, that pawn's going to get whacked on b2, and then the material will be even. And maybe white has just got a very slight advantage, but you know what? My spidey senses are telling me that black should be okay here. Black should be okay.
Yeah, I like this move knight g5 though by Maxime. Nice little tactic, because you can't play rook takes d6, and that's clipping the e-pawn. But you're right, maybe this is the best path, even though Maxime has gotten some material. Not that easy to win, but I think that there's a good chance he's going to get it done. Note that he also has a massive time advantage. For those of you who are just tuning in, and you know, I'd like to remind you that we're going to have Pro Chess League action all day with the Atlantic and Pacific divisions this evening. And I also just got word that we're going to have a very exciting halftime show with Danny Wrench and Robert Hess before the Atlantic division gets underway.
Oh,
so you'll be able to get a little preview of what happened earlier in the day.
Marvelous. My boys doing the halftime little roundup of the action. That's great. Okay, so Bragi has actually decided to exchange the bishop for knight. So we now have a situation where he's a pawn down, but he's going to claim that, you know, his bishop is so good in this position, and that what Bragi would really love to do is get a pair of rooks off here, I think, to be able to then, you know, neutralize any of the potential white attack and to come down to the second rank here. So I would say it's still very much in the balance. White is probably slightly better. And also, if you go knight e6 here, you're going to run into a pin, right, with rook e7, which doesn't look particularly good for white. So, yeah. So I wonder how MBL is going to try and keep chances alive here. Not easy at all. Not easy at all.
And we just have a result in what happened? Something weird just happened. Did Bacrot lose again?
No.
I'm looking at this, and it looks like Bacrot just blundered something.
He blundered a rook. He blundered a rook. No.
No, that couldn't be. He couldn't play rook a1, allowing knight takes a1.
Yeah, he did. He did. He played rook a1. I'm speechless. No, do you know what he did? He wanted to play rook b1. Because
mouse slip. Okay, of course.
He's just
rook
because
rook b1 though. Like, wouldn't rook b1 fail to b5 though?
No, well, that's the whole point. He couldn't find an answer here to b5, although the move rook d1 looks like the most natural move in the whole universe. So,
yeah, rook d1 doesn't allow. That's the thing. Like rook d, it's hard to mouse slip rook a1 for rook d1.
Exactly.
Unless he was typing the move or something.
No, he's not typing in the move. But that is one of the worst mouse slips I've ever seen. If that's a mouse slip, my goodness. What on earth is rook a1 by Etienne, who's now on 0 out of 2? Etienne, stay off the bottle, my son. Get concentrating. Because rook a1, I mean, I've blundered pieces. I've blundered mates in one. But I think even if my opponent played knight b3, I would struggle to play rook a1. It must be a mouse slip. There is just
somebody give us your explanations for
what is that?
Give us your explanation for that. Okay, somebody of course is saying that the explanation is a migraine. Good one. We should have got that. But the Puffins, I mean, these two victories, upset victories, couldn't have come in more different ways. One was a beautiful attacking victory, and the other was just a very random mouse slip towards the end of the game. But, you know, credit to Bjorn for keeping it tense and actually giving Etienne some problems. But wow, that is astonishing. And a game that we thought was going to be a runaway victory for the Migraines now could be extremely close to the very end.
It's just an inexplicable move. I've never seen anything like it. So a huge
you
win.
see a slip for one move, usually you do rook b1
Right.
instead of rook a1.
Right.
But rook a1 instead of rook d1.
No, then
That's inconceivable.
It's inconceivable. That, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's got some butter on his mouse mat. I don't know. Maybe he was having a sandwich. Who knows? Anyway, what we do know is Bjorn is now on an amazing. Do you know what? Bjorn is on 2 out of 2. He's playing amazingly. So well done to him. Now,
that's like not a mouse flip, but like a mouse combustion. I don't get it at all. But we are going to find out more about that, I'm sure.
Going back,
poor Etienne moves to 0-2 despite vastly outrating both of his opponents. Wow.
Yeah, huge.
And now that means that this game between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Bragi is increased in importance because the pressure is on now for Maxime to win this game, and he does have a 5 extra minutes and an extra pawn. So I got to be optimistic about his chances, Lawrence.
Yeah, he's got, I think the real advantage he's got is that Bragi's just got no time, and you've got to make moves here, and you've got to just play a move like bishop f8, try and bring the king towards the center, stop knight d6. But you're right, I think that Bragi is going to really struggle to hold this rook c7.
Meanwhile, Gretarson's game against Jules Moussard is underway as well. And speaking of time deficiency, Jules Moussard is only 24 seconds. Of course, we do have the 2 seconds, but the position, it seems pretty balanced.
Let me see if I can get that position up.
Jules, of course, playing quickly because he has to. Knight takes g3, h takes g3. White does have control over the only open file on the board, but can he make anything out of it? This move, queen f6, it's like we could stick our rook on e7, but it doesn't really do anything. There's no real weaknesses for black, so despite the fact that we have a huge time advantage and control over the open file, is it going to be enough to actually win the game?
I don't know. b3, I would go king f8. Yep, in a heartbeat. He's played king f8.
King f8, of course, just stopping all the action on the file.
g6 here or something. I would play a move. Yep, he's
G6
played it
immediately, channeling Lawrence.
And when he goes queenie,
until it's not a good idea.
When he goes queen e1, I would seriously consider a5 as well. Or if he goes g4, I would go a5 because I'm threatening to go a4, and if he goes a4 himself, then we've locked that queen side, and I feel a lot better. I can move my rook. I can even play rook a7. He's gone queen a1. I would go a5 here, but that's just me. I don't want to allow him anything. He's got 8 seconds, 7, 6. Jules, you got to move. King to g7. Okay, now at least I can play rook e7 if I want.
You got to try to keep it interesting here as white because you do have those 4 extra minutes. He's played a4. He's trying to make a little tickle with a5.
Yeah, now he can play a5.
I don't hate this.
No, I like how Hjopi is playing. He's massaging. He's massaging Jules here. g4, king g7, and Jules is saying, okay, if you want to beat me, show me. g3, so queen d4 now.
Chess Beast 51 asks, why are the Migraines losing? They've got the best players. Well, you might have missed a lot, Chess Beast, because Etienne Bacrot showed up 5 minutes late to his first game, lost a beauty at the hands of Bragi and B-Man on, and then he made an inexplicable blunder to lose again. Meanwhile, the Migraines also, to make the rating cut, are using a youngster on the final board who's obviously quite talented, but he's actually under 2,000. So this match is now very close. And that's why we love the Pro Chess League. There's, you can never really call the match before it gets going, right, Lawrence?
No, absolutely. I mean, full of surprises and full of upsets, which is why we love it. And, of course, just an international league, a truly international league. Teams from all over the world. We are covering the Central Division here. That is the division in Europe. Of course, as Jen mentioned, later on we will have the Americas fighting it out. The chess will not stop. It is an all-day fest of chess. So, what's Hjopi going to do here? Because he's trying to find a plan, but it's not easy, right?
No, it's tough, actually, despite the fact that he's got that 2 half minutes edge. Is he going to be able to do anything with it? You got to give credit to Jules Massard for being cool and collected and just playing very fast and very good moves. But actually, as I say that, he paused for longer than he had in a while before playing the move rook to f8. Perhaps he was a little concerned about some, he couldn't, about some queen e6 type stuff, pressuring f7 and also attacking b6. So he wanted to prevent that. Yeah. But it does allow rook a7, queen takes b3 is on the menu. Yeah. I probably wouldn't let black take my b3 pawn. I would probably play a move like queen to d1 here. The problem with queen... Why not queen e3? I'm just worried that he's going to queen a1 check me and rook h8, and actually my king on g2 is... Okay, so we got some worries as well. So that's why you're playing queen d1 to kind of hold on to the back rank. And then I'm gonna tickle that a7 pawn and see what happens. But Leon Beast has converted against Bragi, so unfortunately for Bragi, just left himself way too short. Oh, but look at this. Queen d1 happened and then an immediate queen f6 by Jules. But now after rook takes a7, there's actually no way to retain the pawn. So white's just gone up a pawn. Well, a pawn is a pawn, and now it should be winning for Yoppie. Queen f3, that's a great move, trying to exchange queens, which he does. Rook d4, now just king e3. But now there's rook b7, isn't there? Or well, I wouldn't allow rook d7. There's rook d3 check. Yeah, so we start with king e3. Just king e3, rook takes g4, and rook b7 is just hopeless. And rook b7, and we're going to have all of those pawns. How are you going to guard any of them after rook takes b6? D6 is also falling. Yeah. In fact, after rook d4 there, I would have just gone king e2. Really, probably. And they all fall down, Lawrence. This is dead, and this is huge. Keeping this match thrilling between the Migraines and the Puffins. This time, Grederson, the hero of the round. Yeah, no, this is obviously hopeless. If we check in the standings, we've got the Cannes Blockbusters, who are currently leading against the Mosquitoes. The Lions and the Snowballs are super tight, as are the Migraines and the Puffins. Yeah, and the Towers and the Turtles, although, as we pointed out earlier, one of the Turtles did not show up for the round. That's why this match is going to be an uphill battle for them. They really have to score lots of victory in the last round in order to try to win despite the man down. Absolutely. And, well, we're going to move from this game because there's not really much to say here. No, there's not. And speaking of the Turtles, we've got Juri Burjek playing against Amit Ghazi, with Amit only having 1 minute left on the clock. We had actually checked on this on this game quite a while ago. Yeah. But now it's looking really bad for the Towers as this move knight takes h5, knight to h5 just occurred, trying to keep the queen away from the defense of c6 and e7. If we take on c6, you're dead. If we play queen e7, of course you're dead. But now we have knight g7 check picking up an exchange, Lawrence. No, knight g7 check must just be winning on the spot. So I expect Jure to play that. G3 then hangs. It's just over. Let's move to another game. Should we have a look at Valentina Gunina as well? Because everybody loves Valentina. So Vanina, 1989, is currently playing against now Ali for the Mosquitoes. Yeah, Ali Betaltse, and she's up a pawn here. She's just crushing. Yeah, and look at that positional domination of the light squares. Yeah, gorgeous. She just played a5. This pawn is going to be a runaway. I'm gonna take a hunch that she was born in 1989. I don't know what made me think that. But Valentina, 1989. Right. Just like Taylor Swift, right? Is that her name, 1989? Taylor Swift had an album, 1989, I believe, that referred to her birth year. I am sure. If I get that wrong, I'm getting fired. So you're gonna have to be up to. You're gonna have to soon, with your little boy. You're gonna have to be all up to date on the pop culture, Jen. I don't have such a worry at this stage, so I'm all right. I only listen to Taylor Swift because Magnus Carlsen does. That's my excuse. Does he actually though? Does he actually listen to Taylor Swift?
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay, so she's crushing in that game. Who else have we got? We've got a big game here, actually. I can see between Agrest and Edouard, two very classical players. Evgeny Agrest, of course, been in Sweden for many, many years now. Originally from the Soviet Union, has got a Russian chess school background and just a super classical player, very, very strong player. And yeah, so at this position here, though, looks as though Roman is okay. I would probably take white, but looks about equal. Not too many fireworks there. And what other games have we got? Let's see.
Everyone's playing. Everyone's playing right now. We've got Luka Lenic against Peter Robertson. Again, the towers and the turtles turning out to be a very tight match.
Yeah, but this is a game which looks very good for Luka.
Again, yes, the pawns, the queenside pawns are just too powerful.
Yes, unless you can play a move like rook takes c5 here. Can you do that?
Well, that's a nice little tactic. So the idea is that if I take on b5, you have a chance to play
rook a1,
e2, or rook a1. I mean, they both were promising, and you would end up winning back some material. But Black didn't find that tricky idea, and instead retreated with a6.
But now it's just horrible. Now it's over.
It's over.
Yeah, it's just over. He had to find that. No, I mean, white can do anything here. Take on c6.
And we're going to have 3 pawns coming at you. You cannot defend against that.
No, it's going to be over. It's going to be over. So, yeah, Robo is going down. They call him Robo. They call him Robo. Who have we got down? Lots of games going on. Lots of good games. Where are the all Grandmaster battles?
Well, you've got you mentioned Agrest versus Edward. Huge.
Oh yeah, Agrest versus
between the Lions and the Snowballs.
That's true.
And we've also got David Klein against Maxime Lagarde, which is currently underway.
Wow, this looks like
a lot of things are getting traded.
No,
there's bishop opposite color, and after rook takes e4, king f3, we're coming in to win that f4 pawn.
Yeah, looks like a draw. Looks like a stone cold draw. This one.
Because if you play bishop f5, we have rook g5, and you could actually get into some trouble there. So you don't want to mess with that.
No, that looks like it's going to be a draw. Yeah, I agree. This one here is no fun at all. This one here could get interesting between Agrest and Edouard. That's Muggsy against E.T. Serga. And Ushko the Bear is losing against Pavasevic, which is to be expected. I guess we can go back to... This one is also completely over, with Borisek gonna crush it. The Valentina Gunina game, how is she doing? Well, now she's completely crushing.
We saw her totally crushing just a few moves ago. Now, now it just looks a little wilder.
No, it's still crushing.
Pieces are on all sorts of crazy squares, but it still seems like she's on top. She's up a pawn.
Yeah, rook d6 is in the air as well. I think it's just over, actually.
Right, rook d6, snagging that knight on b6. And we still have that super powerful pawn on d4 to boot. So very nice. Valentina looks like she's getting the job done.
Valentina. She is a brutal player. She just
blasts. And look at that. The can blockbusters are really dominating. Yeah. That's one match which does not seem close. We've got a tied match between the Towers and the Turtles. The Puffins temporarily up against the Migraines, but I thought there was one game underway that was going to make it a little closer.
We will wait for confirmation on that, I believe.
But right now I'm looking at the score and it looks like 5-3 in favor of the Puffins, which is huge.
That's huge if that's the case. If the Puffins have got that much of a lead, remember, they only need how many points, Jen? Is it 8? Am I counting correctly?
8.5 for the victory.
8.5 for the victory.
8 for the split match.
Right.
So yeah, 8.5. That was the margin that the Estonia horses beat the Riga Magicians by. And as you can imagine, that's the most likely way to score a victory by the smallest possible margin, just because there's more ways for it to happen.
Precisely.
So we're going to see a lot of those, and because the Pro Chess League is just so tight. So we're going to see a lot of those 8.5, 7.5. But winning by a bigger score is important, Lawrence. You always want to win by as most points as you can because it does help you with tie breaks. So it's never the case that a game's not important or it doesn't matter at all.
Well, I mean, if it is 5-3, if my maths is correct, Jen, that means they've completed 2 rounds and they're just about to kick off round 3. So actually, the Puffins with a 2-point advantage. I mean, that's a serious advantage going into round 3. And we've got MBL against Helgi Olufsen with Helgi to move here. We'll stay with this match, I guess, for a short while.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. I mean, as everybody can tell, it's impossible to follow every single game because there's so much excitement going on. But you got to love Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, one of the best players in the world, playing against the OG Helgi Olufsen in a super high-stakes game because the Puffins are the underdogs in this match. But right now, they're leading. Another game that we're going to keep our eyes on is Gredersen, who won last game in a really important battle against Jules Moussard, against Etienne Bacrot, who's having a terrible time today.
Etienne, I mean, he is just playing awfully, way below his level. And he'll be very, very upset with scoring 0 out of 2 so far. So, I mean, you know, we're going to see what happens. We've got a Spanish here. Let's watch this one from the beginning. First time we've actually watched a game right from the beginning. And...
So we've got a Rosalimo, which Helgi met with knight c6. Now,
it's a Spanish. It's a Spanish.
Maxime Vachier-Lagrave going for c3 and d4.
I'm looking at a different game.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like,
what's going on here? Okay, yeah.
I was a little confused by you insisting that the Sicilian was a Spanish.
No. It's the Bacrot game is a Spanish.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look at that one as well.
Yeah, let's keep here. Now, this is actually a game I know something about.
I like the way White's playing now because the problem for Black is that it would be nice to play a Fianchetto line so that your bishop on f8 were more active, but it's a little too slow. And this move a4 cracking open the queen side shows the dangers of waiting so long to castle your king.
Well, just a little theory lesson for all of you guys. Many years ago, well, not even that many years ago, after the move a6 here, after rook e1 a6, everyone and their grandmother used to play the move bishop f1 immediately. But then after bishop f1, Black wasn't provoked into playing b5. So this innovation here of the move bishop to c4 or move 7 really turned up a couple of years ago. It looks silly to allow Black to expand on the queen side only then to come back to f1. But as Jen pointed out, the idea behind provoking this b5 move is that now you can crack open the queen side with a4, b4, and after h3, takes and takes. Now White has got a beautiful control over the light squares, and he will probably play a move like queen to d1 back in order to prepare d4. In fact, instead of the move h3, I wonder if you can go d4 immediately. Because if bc3, bc3, cd4, cd4, bishop f3, White is more than happy to take back on f3 with the pawn, and these positions are very, very tricky. In fact, I think our fellow commentator Simon Williams was on the wrong side of this, or he was on the right side. I can't remember. I think he was involved in a game in this line, which ended up very, very bad. Ended up badly for Black. So I like this opening for White. I think it's and I also think it's a really good weapon in blitz.
I love it too. I like these types of anti-Sicilians in blitz, Lawrence. Take that Sicilian player out of their favorite lines and make them sweat it out. It's really great to do in blitz and rapid games. Now, in this position, Maxime going in for a little of think after Helgi played the move g6. You know, he just wants to play bishop g7 and castles. Maxime looking to see if he can play something super exciting, like his e5, there's just knight takes e5. So he's just played d3. Now, bishop g7, e5. We always have to keep looking at e5, but it seems like we can always just play knight takes e5 And then if rook e5, queen c6 check, it's really not the end of the world, right?
No,
so these things are not quite working. But what about, okay, you just played bishop e3.
Yeah, he wants to go d4 really quickly if he can. So I guess black will play knight d7 here. Because you don't want to allow white to go d4 super quickly. So knight d7, knight d2, castles, something like this, I believe will happen. There we go.
And he has played knight d7.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, we really want to get the move d4 in, but now you're controlling that square. Rook c1 quickly played by Maxime. Idea being that now when we play...
He wants to just protect c3 so he can play knight d2. That's what he wants to do. So...
there could also be some ideas of taking on b4 and playing d4.
No, I think because if you take on b4, I take with the knight and we lose.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
lose control. I think it's just simply in order to be able to develop this knight on b1. And knight d2 and so on. So yeah, so curious to see what happens there. Let's check out the Romain Edouard game very quickly. Also a very big game here against the Stockholm Snowballs. Remember, this match is currently tied for all. So, you know, this is a huge match on, I believe this is board 1 between Edouard and Agreste. And it's one of those positions that looks like it should be promising for black, but it's just not. Because white has got this fantastic bishop on f1, defending everything, and the bishop that later on can be actually very strong. Because black's king is actually more exposed than white's. So rook f5. So I actually don't believe black's attack here at all. And I think white is a lot better. Going to Etienne Bacrot's game. Is he worse again? Surely not.
No, look at this. He's playing against these weakened, shattered pawns on the king side.
Yeah, but are they that weak? Let's say I unweaken them immediately with the move f5, for example.
That's true. You could play f5. Okay, because if you don't play f5, I get to play knight h4.
But even that, I've got knight e7, right? I mean,
Yeah, but if it's my move and I get to play knight h4 and queen h5,
sure.
But it is your move, and indeed, Grederson did play the move f5.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, I'm not sure about this. Not sure about this. I mean, I guess white is okay, but you've got to even be a bit careful here that black doesn't go f4 and then comes with the other pawn to f5, f4, and then suddenly he gains quite... Like here, I guess you can take on e4, but my gut tells me that f4 is the right move.
f4 has been played, allowing knight f5. Thinking, you know, if you play knight f5, we're just going to eventually play knight e7, but not right away because...
Well, yeah, we can go king h8.
A little annoying.
We'll go king h8 first.
Yeah, because note that if you were to play that queen g4, check would win, because if you play knight g6, we play knight h6 and win your queen.
Exactly. We'll put that on the board because that's...
Yeah.
So knight e7 would be a tremendous mistake because check, threatening mate. And then if knight g6, then knight h6 is a lovely tactic, winning the queen. So after knight f5, he can go knight e7, but he can also go king h8, or he can go f6. I guess he's got a few moves. I would prefer just king h8 because I want my rook on g8 anyway. So, yeah, and if he goes queen h5, I go king h8. And I actually like black. This rook on b2 is stupid. This is a stupid looking rook here. White is going to have to go c3 at some point to make it useful, but then this c3 pawn becomes weak. I actually much prefer black here, especially from a practical point of view.
Interesting. Yeah, and Bacrot does have a big time edge in this game, but we'll keep our eyes on it because this could really be absolutely crucial for the Puffins and the Migraines. We've got some chats coming in. People are mentioning their favorite turtles: Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo. No love for Raphael. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Lawrence?
There you go.
And somebody says, you're in fine form today. Other Dog 101 says, Lawrence, you're in fine form today. So you have one fan, at least.
I mean, it's not that I have one fan. It's just that it's such a surprise that I'm of any form. You're in fine form. I'm in fine form always, buddy, even when I'm not in fine form. By the way, Kaiser Chasm says, Icelandic currency has fish and crabs and stuff on its coinage. Why can't everybody be that cool? Is it that great to have a crab on your... Hey, do they call it a crab when you pay with a fiver? It's a crab? I don't know. By the way, anybody who knows anything about Iceland, hit me up, because I am planning on going there ASAP.
Oh, I love Iceland.
Yeah?
You definitely got to go there.
Yeah. I want to see the Northern Lights before they end this year, and I would like to go sledding with the Huskies and maybe visit the Blue Lagoon. And
oh, you'll have a ball, Lawrence. And they have a big tournament coming up there as well.
they do. I would love to play the tournament. I don't think I can get away for that because I think it clashes with the candidates tournament, which is in Berlin, which is where I'm currently based. So I'll be around for that. But in any case, we'll see what happens.
Well, this game between Bacrot and Grederson continues to heat up. It's kind of gone in the direction that we thought, with this rook g8 to rook to g5, activating the pieces here for black.
I like black. Rook a to g8 is coming. If d takes e5, I take with the knight, and I'll have a superb knight on e5. I like black here. I really, really like
easier to play for black.
Yeah,
I got you. If you take on e5, knight e5, f3 would be a huge threat. So white would probably have to play f3 himself.
But then rook a g8, so let's put that on the board. So d takes e5, knight takes e5, f3, rook a to g8. Then you'd have to go passive with a move like rook f2. And now, well, yeah, maybe that holds the fort just. But still, I would be slightly concerned here with white somehow.
But in rapid chess, it's all about which position is easier to play, right? It's not really just about who's better. It's about which one can play smooth moves and avoid any kind of time pressure. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed by the time management of these players. You don't see that many people getting down to their last seconds so far. They're doing a good job.
And by the way, the Ljubljana Turtles board 4 has shown up, which is probably why they have many more points than they used to, which is great news for the Turtles. Means that the Towers are now, after 3 rounds, in trouble, 7-5 down, with 1 round to go. So are the Towers going to make a heroic comeback in the final round? We will soon see.
And speaking of heroic, one thing that the Migraines would certainly applaud, bravo, is if their youngster on board 4 can strike any kind of blood or draw, because he is outrated in all these contexts. He's playing against Bragi now. What do you think of the position?
Okay, let's have a look at it.
He's doing okay. He's got...
Black is doing absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, this kid does not
seem strong
to be intimidated at all. I like his pawn structure is better.
I like his position.
Bragi just played the move f4. He's doing fine on the clock as well. They each have about 9 minutes left.
He's doing more than fine. He's doing...
You mean you actually like black?
I would say I prefer black here because white's knight is very, very passive on d2. Any knight move allows knight c4. So he took on f4, which is fine. Bishop takes.
But now
f4.
the bishop's coming into d6 potentially. Okay, so he played knight b7 to stop the bishop coming into d6 because it looked so powerful.
Oh, but maybe now e5. I'm not sure.
E5 is a really strong move because when you move your knight, we have bishop g5 check, which picks up an exchange, Lawrence.
I know, that's what I saw. I think he didn't have to take on f4 then. I think he could have just played a move like h6 and allowed white to take on e5 to then be able to go knight d7. And I think that was okay. But
either that or maybe allow knight, not play knight b7 and allow bishop d6. Maybe we could leave the tail to tail.
Possibly. Maybe the bishop was always going to be hit with bishop d6. So yeah. So e5 was played, and yeah, it looks as though Bragi might get checked. Even still, after knight d5, bishop g5 check, king d7, let's say, bishop takes d8, rook takes d8, you've got knight e4, yeah. This is just probably, with the open f file, it's probably just losing. So, unfortunate. Should we go back to Leon Beast's game? Because it has...
Yeah, let's take a look at MVL.
Wow, this is really spiced up here against Olufsen. Now...
Oh, wow. Yeah, you picked a good time to go to this game, indeed. So the last time we looked at it, it seemed pretty balanced, I believe. But since then, Maxime's pieces have really leapt into action.
Yeah, and he's got 2 pieces for the rook as well, which is quite important. I guess Helgi... C5 is a lovely move, by the way, the move that Maxime just played. Blocking the check, disrupting his opponent's attack, and threatening maybe knight takes f8 as well.
He doesn't have 2 pieces for the rook, does he? He's just down in exchange momentarily, but he can win it back.
Oh, is he? Am I going mad?
Well, he can take on f8 at the right. The problem, I guess he's going to be up 2 pieces for a rook because there's now knight takes g7, right?
Right.
So you were looking ahead, I guess.
Yeah, I'm assuming knight takes...
But knight takes g7 just looks crushing. Like, what on earth?
I think his idea is he wants to go c4 check, and if king
with the
h1,
idea of invading on f2.
Queen f2,
okay,
yeah.
So after c4 check, if we just move our king,
no.
you have queen to f2.
Yes.
And that is...
winning.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't do that after c4 check. You have to play like queen d4 or something.
Exactly. So c4 check. So knight takes g7, c4 check, queen d4, queen takes d4.
So wait, after queen d4, there's no knight f3 check?
Well, just bishop takes, right?
All right, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, gotcha.
So queen d4, I guess he's going to take it. And this just looks dead. King takes g7, bishop takes e5 check. Those 2 bishops are just monsters. You win the c4 pawn, and you're just winning here with white. So I don't believe this at all for Helgi. I think Leon Beast, MVL, is going to score a very important win. MVL playing,
very
of course.
important indeed, because we just saw that Grederson was going to get through the youngster. So let's move on to Bacrot's game, which, not Grederson wasn't. Bragi was defeating the youngster. Grederson is actually playing against Bacrot right now in a super tight battle. Bacrot's got 3 minutes edge on the clock. You liked black. You thought it was easier to play. Now the dynamics have changed a little bit. Black actually has been able to play the move f3, and white's played g3. So now the action on the g file has been cut off, but the f3 can be a real bone in the throat.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what we were saying, right? It's a very, very similar position to what we were looking at. And the only problem...
We always got to watch out for this rook takes f5, right? Rook takes f5 and queen f5 with the queen hinting at coming at h3. Not hinting, shouting that we're coming to h3.
Whoa, what is knight d4? Queen h3?
And then knight takes f3.
Okay, and rook h5? What on earth? This is giving black a ready-made attack. What
I don't get that.
on earth is that? That looks like a suicidal decision.
Wait, so how do we defend against that? Let's look at that variation, Lawrence, because it looks devastating.
Knight f3.
Forcing knight takes f3. Now rook h5. You can't play knight a5 because of checkmate.
You can't play knight h4 because of rook takes h4 and the pin. So you have to move your rook to e1. And then here, I mean, worst case scenario, I take on f3. I take on h2, and I play... Well, maybe this isn't so bad somehow. Maybe this is just survivable, but it feels wrong.
It feels... Okay, well, what do we have to play queen h3? What if we were to play queen g4 instead of queen h3?
Also possible.
Yeah.
For queen g4, maybe I can go queen... No, that also... Wow, that looks... Maybe that's even stronger. Maybe you're right. Maybe queen g4 with the idea of going rook h5 and prepping everything. Either way, allowing this queen in looks like a suicidal decision by Etienne. I've got no idea what he's thinking about.
Well, it's been a strange day for Bacrot, but this game certainly can go any way. I mean, it could be a draw or win for Bacrot or a win for Grederson at this point, because Bacrot's got double the time. And, in some of those variations you were showing that, like, if black takes an h2, but white just goes king f1, it's not always clear how black is winning. So there's still a lot of play in this game. This is one I want to just keep my eye on, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Is he going to play queen g4 or queen h3? Guys, this is what we call in chess a critical moment. But in rapid chess, you don't have that much time. And you really wish you could just sit there and analyze the candidate moves. Rook h5, queen g4, queen h3, because there's so many forcing variations. But if you think more than a couple minutes, it's going to come back to haunt you. So it's a really delicate balance between calculating it out and just going with your gut.
Incredible. He could. Can you believe this? If Hjopi finds the moves here, Jen, Bacrot could be on 0 out of 3. I mean, there are hangable offences. Is this one of them? Is this where the French would get the old guillotine out and, you know, off with his head? He's played Queen H3, Knight F3. Hjopi will play Rook H5 here. No other move makes sense. And then we're going to see... I really liked Queen G4, though, I have to say.
Too late for that. Rook H5 has been played.
Okay, so now what?
We must move that rook away, right? We got to play Rook D1 or Rook E1. I guess we could play Queen B2 temporarily, pinning the knight on F6 so that there's no time for knight F3 check.
Yeah, but then I just go Rook G7 and just, you know...
Yeah, or F6 and...
Oh, look, yeah, I know or F6. I mean, I don't like F6 that much because it just leaves another target
Yeah,
there.
maybe you're right. I don't necessarily see that Queen B2 gains a ton though, because your queen might be better placed on C1 than on B2. It's not clear to me. But that's the kind of thing that Bacrot's thinking about right now, because he knows that he has to either play Queen B2 or Rook E1 or D1. Those are the 3 candidates. Other moves are getting checkmated. Like, as you pointed out, Knight H4 just snapped the knight off.
I wonder what's going to happen here. I wonder what's going to happen. I'm intrigued. We've got some... Let's quickly go back to Leon Beast. Okay, let's go back to MVL. And, whoa. Has MVL bungled this? What
we
on
thought
earth?
that we were going to have a clear
What
two bishops
happened?
versus rook game that was totally over. And it doesn't look like that's happened, Lawrence.
Knight D3 by Olufsen after CD4. Bishop H6. Rook F6. Bishop takes C4. Knight F2. Very resourceful play. Bishop C1. Rook takes. Rook C2. And Bishop B3. And, you know, you've got to be always very careful here with these. And now, in the worst case, you can play Rook takes C1, Rook takes C1, King takes G7.
And how bad is that? I mean, sure, the bishop's better than the knight, but Helgi decided to play Rook C3 instead, met immediately by MVL with knight to H5.
And if Rook H6?
But now Rook H6, Bishop H6, but there's Rook C6.
Oh, sorry, not Rook
But
H6.
there's Rook C6 here, which attacks the bishop on C1.
Oh my god!
And attacks the bishop
Is he
on
winning?
B3.
What?
Rook takes B3, D5.
D5. Rook B2.
Ah, D5. Okay, that's why.
Well, Rook
so
B2.
D5 check. We
Yeah.
can play Rook takes B2 though.
Yeah, well, you have to. DC6
And then after
Rook
D takes
C2.
C6, what's going on here? Can we stop that
Draw.
pawn? Rook
Oh no,
C2.
Rook B1, King G8, only move. Careful, because you've got mate on the back rank.
Ah, mate on the back rank. So Rook B1, King G8. And is there a way for you to connect with the pawn and win? Rook B6 doesn't seem that powerful because Rook B1 has been played. So we're waiting for King G8 now from Helgi Olufsen. What a thrilling game, Lawrence.
Great game. He's played really well though, Olufsen. And he's played King G8. What a boss! Rook B6. Just maybe now can he go A5? Because Black's got this very interesting knight and rook combination against the white king, which is all traditionally very difficult to stop.
Yeah, I would think maybe we play A5, and then we're going to try to march our king in with King F7, King G6. Instead, King F7 immediately, allowing Rook takes A6.
Wow.
The idea is King G6.
Wow.
The knight is trapped except to play Knight F4. But the thing is, after Knight F4, we're going to get a boatload of chances now with King H5.
What a boss.
King is coming in.
What a boss. I mean, what a boss idea this is.
I love
Bravo.
this idea.
Brilliant.
Amazing resourcefulness under pressure
Brilliant.
against one of the best players in the world with less time. Absolutely wonderfully done by Helgi Olufsen. Bobby Fischer would be giving him a pat on the back, I tell you.
He would. They played, right? Or they were friends, right?
Friends, I believe,
Yeah.
yes. So king h5, and now what if we get our rook back in?
Well, the problem is you can't, because your rook's in such a dumb position here on a6.
So if we play like rook b6,
okay,
which Maxime did, by the way.
King
now
G4
after
only
king
moves.
g4.
Also,
king
the move
G4
rook c5 is very interesting there, by the way. But anyway.
King g4 and immediate king g1 from Maxime.
What about rook c5 here? Rook c5 is a beautiful move because white's rook is paralyzed on b6. It can't do anything. You have to protect c6 and you can't play a5. I really like rook c5 here, and then I can win the pawn on f4, and then in the worst case I can scoot. He's done it!
Whoa, he's done it.
Wow. I'm not saying this is winning, far from it. I think this is just a stone cold draw now. But what a defense.
Because basically you got to at some point bail out and start trading off pawns. You can't just let me have control over the game.
And look at this, Jen. The Puffins 6-3 ahead of the Migraines. This would be a tremendously important half a point were Helgi to make a draw here. And I believe he will make a draw. I don't see any chances here whatsoever for Maxime. What does he want to do? He can never make progress here. In fact, he's got to be a bit careful. King f2 does threaten king e3. You know, Helgi will take on f4. Maxime will play rook b4 check, king e5, rook b5, king d. Ooh, rook b5 there. Whoa. So I'm just putting a position up here, Jen, in this game. If I go king f2, king takes f4, rook b4 check. Now you have to go king g5, because I think king e5 would lose to rook b5. I think that would be winning. Or is it? Rook takes b5, a takes b5, king d6. Somebody help me out. Is this a draw? King f3, h5. King f4, h4. King f3, and then you can just move the king. And I think it's a draw. You've got, you know what these pawns are called when you've got a pawn on f5 and a pawn on h4 and the king can't get it?
Dumb and Dumber?
No, I think Dvoretsky called them trousers many years ago.
Oh, yes, trousers. Trousers, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, because they look like a pair of trousers.
Yeah, exactly like a pair of trousers. Just like the dragon looks exactly like a dragon. But I want to play the Puffin opening after this performance. What's the Puffin?
I don't know. We need to create the Puffin. Maybe you could
we'll have to watch
the
their games closely to kind of come up with a Puffin. I do want a pet Puffin.
I tell you who is Puffin. Etienne Bacrot. He's Puffin. He's a Puffin. He's been a Puffin since he's sat down tonight. He's barely hanging on here against...
And here we have it. It is a draw, king versus king in the game between Maxime and Helgi. I gotta love it when they play king versus king. It really shows the fighting spirit. Beautifully done by Helgi Olufsen, holding the elite grandmaster Maxime Vachier-Lagrave to a draw. Well done. One for the seniors.
Yeah, brilliant. Let's go back to the Bacrot versus Gretarsson game, aka Arna Rowley versus Baki 83. And what a tricky position this is. White's king is kind of being shielded by his rooks, but there is a bit of wind there. You know, it's still not easy.
Windbreaker. All right, so 3 minutes for it. Let's just stay on this game, Lawrence, though, because boy, 3 minutes for Bacrot and a minute and a half for Gretarsson, and both kings potentially weak. You know, both kings we have to watch out for little trickies.
Oh, for sure, we're watching out for trickies and dippies and all kinds of things. I don't know. Like my c2 pawn is hanging, right? And we can't move it.
Rook takes f7 check played.
What a bouse!
King takes f7, rook f3 check is got to be the idea.
King G.
And if you play king e7,
queen f8 is mate.
It's queen f8.
King d7.
Yeah. King. So wait.
Rook f7 check. King c6. Queen a8 check. King b6. Queen a5 check, Jen. King c6 and mate on c7. That's unbelievable.
Oh, no. Wait. Slow down. Show that variation one more time.
So, rook takes f7. King takes f7. Queen f8. King d7. This has been played. He's blundered mate.
Queen a5 check and queen c7 is mate.
Queen a8 check is mate. Exactly.
Oh, no. He missed something here. Maybe he missed king b6, queen b6, queen a5 or something.
Exactly. He probably saw king b6, queen b8, king a6 with a repetition. But this one is actually over, and he does not even let it happen.
Well, if you're going to start 0-2 as a 2,700 plus player, then this is the type of game that you want to win, which says, I'm back in this for the migraines.
Doesn't even matter how you win it. Sometimes you've just got to win it. And that is such a huge result for Marseille. I believe that puts the match at, it's going to be 6.5, 4.5. Is that correct?
Well, you know, the thing for Bacrot is that you live by f7 and you die by f7 because the beautiful game that he was on the losing side of also featured a sacrifice in f7.
Yeah, that's true, actually. There we go,
this
kids.
Time he was the one to execute on f7, although it's possible that taking on f7 was just a perpetual if the king went the other way.
Yeah, he might have been able to go to g6, but I guess we don't have time to look at all of the options, but still, huge win there. So I believe, is it 6.5, 4.5 between the Puffins? Is that right? Can that possibly be right? 6.5, 5.5? That feels better.
Right now, 6.5, 5.5 in favor of the Puffins. So this game is just like super close, too close to call. The Ljubljana Turtles have now got 7.5 to 5.5. Of course, their fourth board joining the party is helpful. Apparently, they didn't realize the start time, so too bad for the Turtles, but it looks like they might recover from that. Meanwhile, the Cannes Blockbusters are just dominating against the Amsterdam Mosquitoes, wadding them, if you will. Swatting them? Swatting? That's what you do to a mosquito, right?
It is. Or you can stroke them. It depends how you...
Or you can spray them.
You can.
There are all sorts of things you can do to mosquitoes, but it looks like Cannes is doing all of them because they're up 8-4 against Amsterdam. Tough day for the mosquitoes. Meanwhile, another very close match underway between the Lions and the Snowballs.
Very, very close. So going into the final round, yeah, I mean, we should keep an eye on that as well. We've got Blomqvist against Tan, amongst others. Igrist against, we haven't really checked out Vachier-Lagrave, but that's just kicked off. We'll keep an eye on that game. We got Amit Ghazi against Michelangelo as well. Although that is for a slightly different match.
Well, here's a big game. The top two boards of the Snowballs and the Lions. We mentioned it throughout the show. In the final round of these matches is where you see the top two players playing against each other.
Right.
And that's what makes this battle so climactic.
So we've got Daniel Fernandez playing against Evgeny Agrest. And we've got Georg Meyer playing against Roman Edouard. So we should keep an eye on those matches, certainly, for the moment. But this Puffins match, I tell you, Jen, the excitement has been unreal. To see.
Any minute now we're going to see the final game for the Puffins just start up, and we're going to certainly be keeping our eyes on that as we see if the Puffins can pull off the upset.
And you know, they
Central Division.
I don't know if you remember last year, Jen, but how they celebrated when they won. The champagne bottles were out. They are jumping all over the place. I cannot wait to see if they pull off.
I did watch that. I did watch that clip, and you know, it doesn't surprise me because my trips to Iceland have certainly shown me that Icelandics know how to party. I mean, they got to do something when it's dark 23 hours of the day.
Well, you can just play blitz chess all night, right? I mean, whatever. You can't go outside. It's dark everywhere. Play blitz all day. Of course, only on Chess.com, guys. If you are watching and you're not a Chess.com member, ask yourself this when you go to bed tonight. Why? Why would I be so silly to not be a Chess.com premium member? Sign up, enjoy all the features, and join the community. Join the club. It would be a crime not to.
I love that. I love your plea. You know, when you're going to sleep, think about it.
When you go to sleep, think about it. All right. Esturga, Daniel Fernandez playing against Agrest. We got a bit of a funky position already. Agrest has just won a pawn, right? Or am I going nuts? he has won a pawn, and Fernandez is basically saying, look, buddy, you can win a pawn, but I've got the dark squares, and I've got sufficient counterplay. I don't particularly like Daniel's decision against such a solid player like Yevgeny, but we'll see how it works out for him. I am personally a bit sceptical. I wouldn't have given up a pawn there. Roman Edouard against Georg Meyer, well, this was never going to produce fireworks in the opening. Then again, Georg Meyer has never had a fireworks in the opening, unless he's had a few whiskey sours beforehand. One of the most solid guys out there. And we've got another symmetrical-looking Reti or English.
Here you go, giving away top trade secrets like Grandmaster's favorite drinks.
There we go, yeah. Distant Fire says Lawrence is a born salesman. Don't know if
I would agree with that.
Don't know if I was a born one. I was a born something.
But maybe it's just also like chess goggles, because most people in chess are not really good salespeople. So, you know, you look so great by comparison.
Oh, goodness me.
I mean, chess players are, are very honest, right?
I mean, look, honesty is the best policy. I'm all for it, guys. So, yeah. Lawrence, talk about Bitcoin, please. Why on earth would I do such a thing on this stream? My goodness. People who check out...
do not take investment advice from Lawrence.
Yeah, this is by no means investment advice.
But don't not take advice from him either.
That's true.
Don't take advice from him, or don't take the opposite. Just
think about it. Just contemplate it. If you watch my own stream, by the way, twitch.tv/Trantos, doing a lot of streams for Chess.com this year. Please, please, please follow and subscribe. I'm doing a lot of work on the channel. I do delve into the world of crypto during my Blitz Brawls and various other streams that I'm going to be doing, simply because, well, it's either going to make you or it's going to break you. That's the way I see it at the moment. So,
Bitcoin Brawls. I like it.
Bitcoin Brawls, yeah. Oh, that's what I should do. Play for brilliant Bitcoin on Chess.com. I could play for 0.01 Bitcoins per match. How about that?
I got some comments coming in that we are the best looking ugly person in chess. I don't know if they're referring to me or you, Lawrence, though. So
best looking and ugly person.
But the best looking, all I hear there is all I see there is the best looking. I don't see that other word. And we've also, somebody asked me where I'm from. I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm actually calling in from Philadelphia. And you're calling in from Berlin, right?
Berlin, yeah. Home of the Berlin Wall. Yes, the real one and the chess one. I've actually walked past parts of the wall recently. They have bits of the wall all scattered all over Berlin, and it looks like the opening. Tough to break down. He needs to. I'm not. By the way, I'm not talking it. So you I don't imagine that the guys watching this now are going to pump Bitcoin because I'm just talking about it to try and get the price up. I mean, I know you guys are. You're doing well for yourselves, but I don't imagine you're going to move the market. Okay. It's okay, right. So what's going on here, Jen? Have we actually got hold on. Have we got the final
We got a victory. The Turtles have clinched victory against the London Towers. Wow. They've got 8.5 points. That's the magic number, Lawrence, 8.5. That gives you victory here in the Pro Chess League. So congratulations to Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, and wait, which one did I forget? Michelangelo. How could I forget Michelangelo? But really today playing, we had Grandmasters Borisek, Lenic, and Pavisovic, as well as Luka Skuhala, and they have won their match. So good job. And down go the London Towers.
Yeah, I think London missing their key players today. The likes of Gawain Jones, of course, over in Vachier-Lagrave. Sunny Vachier-Lagrave, that's a joke. If anybody's actually ever been to Vachier-Lagrave, it's the most rainy and windy place on the planet. Playing, obviously, the top group there. Didn't fancy playing. Concentrating on the tournament. Wise decision. Wise decision. So, what have we actually got going in the chess? This game is, Fernandez has actually done really well. Look at this bishop here, Jen, cutting through the black position. I quite like white's position somehow. B6. Now do we go rook c1 or something? try and play CD5. Maybe we go A4. Got a few options here.
So you like white, indeed. I'm feeling it.
I like bishop D3. I don't understand at all. What is that move all about? Anyway, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. What else have we got? Valentina Grunina. Let's quickly check in with her. See if she's
not looking.
Oh no. She has.
But it's still, as I pointed out earlier, the Cannes Blockbusters are selling out this match because selling out is bad.
Not selling out.
I meant, what did I mean? You know, they're topping the charts.
Right.
5 stars.
Right.
They're winning this match.
They are. They still need half a point. You never ever know. But I really didn't like Bishop D3 there by Fernandez, I have to say. So Grunina going to lose this one more likely than not. And now Agres has played C5. Very complicated position. We'll come back to that in a minute. Roman Edouard versus Bjorgmai is a snooze fest.
Ooh, and the games are begun in the Puffins versus the Migraines.
Here we go. We're going to keep an eye on
Helgi Olufsen, white against Etienne Bacrot. Both playing fantastic games last round. Bacrot winning his first game of the Pro Chess League this season against Gretarsson in a really nice tactic towards the last minutes. And Olufsen holding a draw in a position that we thought for sure he was going to lose to MVL because he found a lot of nice tactics there in the end game. So both of them kind of on a high playing in this last critical round.
Yeah, absolutely. So 1 round to go. And we've got a Catalan here with B6, Jen. Now, this little move is a bit rare, and it's one that I think is an excellent blitz weapon because the idea of this B6 move is that after, queen takes C4, bishop B7. This is one way you can put the bishop on A6 as well. Knight E5 is the main move here to go bishop. Anyway, we have a pretty standard position, it turns out, in this game. Let's go to the Leon Beast game. Wow, what on earth is this nonsense by Hiopi? Is this theory? Can you get away with this stuff? Let's go from the beginning. So we have C4, E5. We have an English with D5. And a main line with Knight B6. And D4 by Hiopi. Look at that. Normally white here goes castles or B3 or something more sensible. But D4, I have to say, I've never seen it. ED4 and Knight B5. So a very radical way to challenge in the center. And I'm not really sure what what black should do here. A6. Well, now I can take back on D4 and queen takes D4. And of course, white is absolutely fine. I wonder whether holding on to that pawn was more of a challenge, critical, but of course when we play blitz we want to play the practical options. So
this match between the Puffins and the Migraines, remember the Puffins are up by 1 point, 6.5, 5.5. They need to get to 8.5 to win the match. So 2 points need to come from somewhere. Meanwhile, the Migraines need to win 3 games, and don't forget they do have the youngster on board 4 who is outrated by a large margin. So really Bacrot and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, I mean, the pressure's really on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Maxime has got a perfectly fine position here, but it's also a very well-played position, I would say, by Hiopi, who's basically saying, you know what, a draw here against MBL is not a bad result at all. And I'm going to try and make a draw.
And then we've got Jules Massard versus B-Man Bragi Thorfinson, who arguably played the game of the day against Bacrot earlier in this match. He's playing black against Jules Massard. That's going to be critical for this match as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bishop E3. So.
And finally, we've got Bjorn Thorfinson playing against Marc-Andrea Maruzzi. That game, certainly black. The Puffins are expecting to win. They outrate the board for the Migraines by over 400 points. But we've seen the youngster get some really good positions in previous games. This one, we're already in an end game. But we'll keep a close eye on it.
Because here we go with this one. And you're right. You know, but white is doing absolutely fine. In fact, white is definitely for preference here with a better pawn structure. So we'll keep an eye on that. Have we got any? The can Blockbusters still on 8 points, but they really only need a draw. So really the matches to follow, as you said, Jen, London Lions, Stockholm Snowballs, Reykjavik Puffins, Marseille Migraines. These are really the only matches that we should be looking at.
Hello to Nazi Pikitzi, who has joined the chat, and she's going to be playing later tonight in the Pacific Division on the Las Vegas Desert Rats. So that's going to be quite a match. Dominguez is also going to be playing for Las Vegas, and they're going to be playing against the Chengdu Pandas. What a matchup that's going to be.
Shout out to Lenier, que bola hacer, ya tú sabes. Bit of Cuban there. I don't know why I've still got this Gunina game going. Her position's got worse and worse. We'll quit that. Fernandez is completely winning against Agrest. So that means that this is a huge win if Danny manages to pull it off. Still got some technical difficulties, but really this should just be winning. Rook A1, B3. And 2 extra pawns on the queen side. Knight C5. Now maybe B4 and Rook D7 check. That's the way I would play it. And try and just keep a bit of activity. Bishop E5 also is good with the idea of Rook B2 next. So I like that by Danny. And Georg Meyer against Romain Edouard has been equal for pretty much most of the game. Even though this bishop is closed out on H7, I don't think the position is that bad because black has got such a fantastic bind on the dark squares. And this bishop on G2 is not much better.
Yeah, this game, it's funny. You mentioned that Meyer is so solid that the position is going to stay closed and tight for a while. And you certainly were right. 7 minutes later, we check in and it still seems quite balanced on the clock and on the position.
Absolutely. Prefer white slightly because my bishop on G2 is better than the other bishop on H7.
Speaking of preferring white, I have no issues with Gredersen's position against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. I think Gredersen can be happy with his position. We obviously have to keep a close eye on that. And Etienne Bacrot.
Yeah, we can go back to the Etienne.
Playing with black.
Yeah.
With C5. What do you think of that game?
Just equal. Just normally when black gets in C5, he's doing okay. The only move that you always have to worry about is knight E5 here. And knight E5. Actually, hold on. Knight E5.
And what about queen A7? You got to look at queen A7 as well, don't you?
No, because I think you always get in trouble there. I don't know exactly what way.
Oh, because I guess you can just take on D4, take on F3 and D4 and win the pawn back that way.
Yeah, and also you've always got to be careful that your queen doesn't get trapped. But what's going on after knight E5? Just curious. Because knight E5, bishop takes G2. Then I can go knight takes D7, bishop C6. So knight E5, let's put it on the board. Knight E5, bishop takes G2, knight takes D7. Or maybe I can just go king takes G2. CD. Yeah, this is unpleasant. This is unpleasant. Knight E5. I like knight E5 here for white. It's a sort of move that Olufsen will calculate and play.
That's right. He has been thinking for about a minute in this position. So he's certainly thinking about these possibilities, Lawrence.
No question at all.
Because 95, it's a very tempting move to look at. It's forcing, it's thematic. Those are the moves that a Catalan player will certainly jump to the right.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Leon Beast, let's have a look. Well, I mean, what can we say? Hiopi is doing what he's had to do in this game. get an equal position and make a draw, and that's what
if he makes a draw, you know, it's very likely that that's going to win the match, because there's that huge rating differential on the final board.
Well, you say that, but he is a very, very good little player. Let's go and have a look at Mark.
I agree.
And hold on, just hold your horses, Genium. Okay.
Oh wow! It looks like the youngster is on top here.
He's not just
that knight
on top.
On A1 is trapped.
Look at this guy. This is completely winning. You just want to go,
as my son likes to say, that was his first word, and that's like his only word now. He's just, everything is
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because B4, bishop B2 is on the menu.
Yeah, and this knight is so poor. And Bjorn is going to need a miracle.
Oh my gosh. This would be absolutely massive for the Migraines if their victory could come from the hands of the 11-year-old on board 4.
And then what would that mean?
Outrated by over 400 points.
That would then mean, what is the final game in that? So we've got this game, we've got Bacchie, we've got Leon
they're all still underway, Lawrence, but the Migraines have a 1-point deficit going into the round.
Well, so this is game against Jules Mossad against Thorfinson, and Mossad is winning. So what that means, if my math is right, Mossad is going to win this. I have no doubt. It's just completely winning. That ties the match. I think it's going to be a draw. I think Hjopi is good enough to make a draw against MVL. And I think Bacchie, well, he took on A7. Wow, that is a bold decision. Olufsen, if Olufsen wins, I think...
But don't count Mark's win as a win yet. I mean, there's some technique to be had in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he's playing against a much more experienced player. He's got 5 minutes left on the clock.
True.
And he hasn't even snipped the knight off yet. So this is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Still some work to be done there. So what an exciting finich, Jen, we've got here. And the Lions as well.
We'll keep our eyes on these games because this is where the action is. Still Grederson thinking against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. I think a small edge for white. Bishop C5 just played. Certainly nothing for Grederson to worry about yet against the elite grandmaster. Meanwhile, Queen takes A7 was played.
Yeah, I think that's
so,
a huge move to play.
So Bishop takes F3 and taking on D4 is one possibility for Black. Try to just regain the pawn directly. But then you give up your light square bishop, and you know the Catalan white loves to have that bishop.
Very complicated game.
So I don't know. Another victory coming in, the Cannes Blockbusters. We predicted it because they had 8 points to 4, but they have clinched their victory against the Amsterdam Mosquitoes. So Cannes and Ljubljana have both won their matches. And now we've got 2 remaining matches with the results unknown. Stockholm Snowballs versus Lions and the Puffins versus Migraines. Super tight till the last minute, so definitely stay with us here.
Yeah, stay with us. And remember, this isn't the only show today, guys. This is just 2 out of 4 divisions being played today. You've got chess until you go blue in the face. There will be a halftime show after this with the one and only Danny Wrench and my main man, Bobby Hess, in the Hizau. They're going to be doing the halftime show, wrapping up a bit of, well, summarizing the action thus far. And then after that, you've got the likes of Ben Feingold, David Pruis, and various others covering the Atlantic Division and the Pacific Division, where all of you guys will be watching from the US. I won't be watching because I have things like sleeping to do where I'm from. And, you know...
Wait, so you play poker and do crypto and you actually sleep as well?
Well, I definitely don't play poker online. Those days are long gone, Jenny. I tell you that. Long gone. But, yeah, you know... The crypto stuff can wait while I'm asleep.
You sleep an hour or two. I gotcha. But I think this game versus Edward and Meyer, it looks like White has clipped a pawn, but at the same time, Meyer has a real solid defense going on with these two bishops and the control over the e5 square. So will White be able to win this game for the Lions? I don't know. I think it could be a draw.
Feels
but
like
we'll definitely keep our eye on that. Meanwhile, Agrest versus Dan Fernandez also underway. And this one, it looks like White's up 2 pawns. Big problems for the Snowballs.
Let's have a look at that.
But that's going to just make the match even tighter, Lawrence, because the Snowballs came into this.
Sorry, which Agrest am I looking for here?
You're looking for Evgeny Agrest, but I guess we should also look at Ina Agrest game as well.
Well, I'm looking at Ina's game against Ravi Hari, and she's got a perfectly fine position, but Ravi has got a lot of initiative here, so I think she's still really big favourite. And Blomqvist against Tan as well is also a very important match. I've just switched over to that. Justin Tan, the Australian-born IM, soon to be, I don't know if he's ever going to be British. He's been in England for a long time. I think he studies at Oxford, if I remember correctly. And he is in a world of pain against Blomqvist. So my gut tells me, unfortunately, that I think the Lions are also going to go down today.
That's true. Justin Tan is in huge trouble here. You're absolutely right. It looks like White is up a pawn and has a really nice position to boot. So unless Ina's position, Ina, if she wins, that could tie up the match, though. So that's the key battle there. If Ina wins, that would put... Oh, no, I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually the opposite. If Ina were to lose, then the match would be tied up. But her position looks pretty nice. So at the same time, she's only got 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, she's really down on the clock here. So
let's keep our eye on this one for a little bit then.
Sure.
Because by our rudimentary math, of course, we might have gotten something wrong. It looks like this could be the crucial battle. And
hold on, she can take on e5 and rook c1. What is this?
Yeah, well, and queen takes e5 is no good either because rook takes e5. So knight takes e5, pawn takes e5 allows rook c1. And it's just over.
Oh,
and it looks like this is going to win the match for the Snowballs.
Terrible result for Ravi. And Ina, as I say, very, very dangerous board forward to have. And she is going to win this for sure.
Yes, and with the other matches that we also looked at, it seems like the Snowballs is very likely to win this match. So let's go to the one with the most tension of all, the Puffins versus the Migraines.
Well, Mossad has just beaten Torbjornson, so it's 6.5, 6.5 with 3 games ongoing.
But has the youngster slipped his advantage at all? He only has 3.5 minutes to Bjorn's 10.5 minutes, and he's yet to round up that knight on a1, Lawrence.
No, but he doesn't have to round it up. You know, you could put it. You can put a bishop on e3 and play c5. You don't have to go crazy here. You can allow that knight to go to b3. This is still an absolutely superb position for the youngster.
I agree, but I don't think it's going to be easy for him with this time situation. Bjorn Thorfinson has to obviously watch out for knight takes f6, so he played bishop to e5. And now, you know, after your bishop e3, don't forget that c4 is hanging as well.
Yeah, but I think if you go bishop takes c4, that feels like it should lose somehow.
Yeah, I hear you. It feels like it should lose indeed.
Probably rook c1.
Rook c1, there's bishop takes d3, then rook c8, bishop b4, and I've won 2 pieces for the price of 1. I mean, for the price of 1 rook. So that seems to hold on.
I'm not sure even if I win the a7 pawn, that might be good there. But anyway, I think it's maybe not bishop e3 is the right move here.
But there's a lot to ruminate on here for the 11-year-old with the pressure of the match on his shoulders. Not an easy task at all. But is it on his shoulders? Because remember, if Bacrot and Maxime win their games, then his game doesn't matter. They've clinched the match.
Well, Bacrot,
so 3 games going on right now, and he's played c5, by the way, which also looks like a good move.
Looks like a great move. C5.
And the 11-year-old, wow.
Well, c takes d6. What is this? C takes d6.
C takes d6.
Bishop takes, knight takes. just looks winning.
Because you have bishop a6 check at the end of the day, winning my rook on c8 by a discovered attack.
Exactly. And if cd6, bishop d6, knight d6, rook c1, which looks like the other way, I guess I can just...
C1. Oh, knight, I mean, sorry, rook c1 we have to do because you're attacking my knight.
Maybe that's the only way, and maybe black is just surviving there.
Well, we just got to keep the game going, Lawrence, because with less than 2 minutes on the clock, the game is always.
What about knight d6 first?
Knight d6 first, okay.
And that's different because we do have this bishop a6 check, right? So knight d6
well, at least
first.
after knight d6, we can maybe just play like rook d8 and try to keep the game going.
Okay, but rook d8, bishop e3, and suddenly, if you take on d6 twice, can I not just take on a7 or go bishop c2?
Oh gosh, it looks terrible, Lawrence. You're right. It just looks terrible. But the question is the clock. Is he going to freeze under this enormous pressure?
And remember, the Puffins are actually...
It looks great.
The Puffins are actually streaming twitch.tv/Reykjavik Puffins. For all of you diehard Puffins fans, if you want to check out this stream, don't leave this stream. Had both of us running at the same time, obviously. He's gone bishop a6 immediately, which is probably still good enough for an advantage, but knight takes d6 look crushing. Has to be said. But this is also good. Rook d8, bishop e3. I mean, dc5, you can play this position in your sleep. Rook takes d8, king takes d8, knight takes c5, takes. And, you know, you're a pawn up and you're never losing this. So, you know, I like this. This is also a very, very decent decision. But under a minute now for Mark Andrea. Under a minute.
Meanwhile, Bacrot's position looks really interesting. He's down a pawn, but he's really got a lot of potential activity here.
Yeah, he's got tons of activity. I actually really like his position.
Yeah, because the problem is if you play something like queen c2, we've got to move d3.
Yes.
If you take it back with the pawn,
rook
we have
takes
rook takes b2.
Beautiful.
Queen b2, knight f3, and we snag your queen on b2.
That's beautiful tactic. That is a beautiful tactic. So
very big practical issues here for Olufsen against Etienne Bacrot, who's trying to redeem himself and win 2 games in a row.
But hold on, in that line, here, check, queen takes b2. Can I continue with a4 here and just say, I've got a bishop on f3, I'm just going to punt this a pawn up the board and claim that, you know,
maybe
I've got enough comp with this a-pawn and my rook behind it. Very, very interesting.
You might, but I've got rook takes d3 at the moment, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, and then I probably have to go rook d to b1, hitting your queen.
Yeah, and then...
And then I move my bishop back to g2, and then I just go with the a-pawn. It doesn't feel like it. Queen d4 and rook d2, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite enough, but... Definitely the game is not over yet, that's for sure. But Olufsen getting into deep time pressure, and suddenly it really looks to me that a game we thought was headed towards a match we thought was headed towards the upset is maybe not to be. But oh my gosh, Marc-Andrea Maruzzi only with 6 seconds left on the clock. Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. We're gonna go straight there. 6 seconds. Oh no!
Something happened.
What happened to his position?
And his position is also not what it used to be. In fact, his pieces are actually kind of pinning each other here.
Oh,
the knight can't move because we take the bishop, and the bishop can't move because we take the knight. You can't play a4 because knight b4. All of a sudden, black actually looks good.
Black does look good.
Poor kid.
Yeah.
He really looked like he was going to be the hero of the match for the Migraines. But do they need him? Because Bacrot's position... promising, and MVL also has a chance to win. Knight takes a3, played by Bjorn.
Knight a3, and f3, and the kid wants to rush the king in, but is he too slow? King d6, king f2, king d5, king e3, and he's holding on by a whisker here.
By a whisker. There's bishop f1 though. What do you do then? You just
king f2.
King f2 tempo.
Yeah. G5's got to be the move here, right?
Nice one. G5, locking those pawns down on the light squares. I do not think he's going to draw this, Lawrence. I think in this time pressure, he's going to... The position's almost simplified enough to just like make moves and draw, but it's just a little bit of juice left that Bjorn is going to squeeze into a victory. There's a little juice left in that lemon, and
there is.
I don't think that 5 seconds is going to do it. Oh, but this is a nice move. F4, shutting things down.
It's probably a draw, you know. It's probably it's probably just a draw.
Can he do it? Can he draw this game? The upset draw to give the Migraines a more likely victory. Of course, there's still other games going on. G4 takes on G4. F takes G4. But, you know, getting his pawns into the dark squares, Lawrence, that was an achievement. That was good.
Really good.
Now it's not so easy for Black to come up with these little tricky ideas. Still dangerous, though.
Okay,
5 seconds left now.
Okay.
Bishop D7. I think King D3 played.
I think it's still a draw, but it's difficult because now H5. Yeah, I mean, practically, this is very, very difficult.
H5, because you got to watch for H4, and he lost on time, Lawrence. That's what happens sometimes when you get down to 3 seconds. If you have any kind of issue with your internet, you're going to go down.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was probably, you know, he probably froze because he was like thinking H4 might be possible, making sure he had it held, and that was enough to cost him the game. But okay,
very sad.
As we shed a tear for the youngster, we got to go and look at the games because
let's look at Bacchie. Well, I mean, look at this. This is still, you know, there's still all to play for here. This is still extremely, extremely unclear between Olufsen and Bacrot. I guess
indeed, what a mess.
I guess he'll take on D3 and then go Queen E3. And then can he just take on F2 here? I mean, it looks as though something should be working out for Etienne here. 4 minutes as well, got enough time on the clock. And Leon Beast, we've not even checked in with the man himself, MBL, who is going to make
that one is so simplified, Lawrence.
Yeah, it's just a draw. Should be.
So if this game ends up being a draw, that means that Bacrot must win to tie the match. Otherwise, the Puffins will score the upset victory.
So hold on, why is that? I thought.
I think I'm adding right. It was
the Puffins. Didn't they just lose? Didn't? Oh no, it was the youngster.
The Puffins won.
Right,
remember?
Of course. So
they've got 7.5 points now.
Right. Okay.
They need 1 point for a victory. So 2 draws will give them a victory, and 1 draw will give them the tie against the Migraines.
Well, this is an easy draw here for.
So then it's all on Bacrot's shoulders. He needs to win this game to stop the Migraines from losing to the Puffins.
Oh my goodness!
He needs to win. Draw, not okay.
Oh my goodness!
Can he do it?
Even a draw, for the Puffins as a result would be an exceptional score against such a strong Marseille Migraines.
And we got knight d3 on the board. Queen to e3 played immediately.
Knight takes f2.
Knight takes f2 has occurred.
Takes on d8, only move. Queen takes d8. Then probably rook f1. And then what do you want to do with the knight? You really want to go knight d1? Because if you go knight d3, rook d1 is pinning. So you've got to take on d8 here. You've absolutely just got to take on d8. There's no moves. Just take on d8.
Right, because you can't let the other rook get into the attack.
No,
then
you can't. Yeah, so he takes.
So rook takes d8, queen takes d8 has been played.
Rook f1 must be the move. There's no other move that makes sense here.
Because otherwise your knight d1 idea could be very strong because it's going to shut the rook out of the defense. That's the problem.
There's queen d4 checks and there's all kinds of stuff.
Knight, he did play h3 though, but now I like this move knight d1 because the idea is if we want to go queen d2 or queen b6, like you can't hold on to the d2 square and the a7 f2 diagonal. That's the problem, Lawrence.
No, knight d1 is very strong here.
So that's why rook f1 was better because you actually got your rook into the defense. Knight d1 is a very picturesque move which shuts the rook out of the defense.
He's done it. Knight d1, what a move.
I love it. Knight d1, we're getting queen d2 or queen b6 in, and that's going to be, or queen d4. Somehow our queen is going to get into the attack. Let's see it. Queen d4 check. remember that then king h2 will just fail instantly to rook takes g2 and we win a piece.
Wow.
So you got to play king h1. And Olufsen had enough. 4 seconds on the clock. He saw that he was losing.
What a save.
Won the game.
So that means they tied the match.
The match is tied indeed.
Wow.
And yeah, the Stockholm Snowballs, as we were starting to see with Ina Agrest winning her game, that went in the Snowballs direction. And after what a match between the Puffins and the Migraines ended up drawn. Well, that seems pretty fair, Lawrence.
It's fair. What a first round though, Jen. How about that for an introduction to the Pro Chess League 2018 Central Division? What has to be considered a huge upset by the Puffins, hugely outrated, and they managed to score a fantastic 8-all draw with the Migraines. Fair play to Etienne Bacrot for saving it after a disastrous start, and yeah, just a great performance all round by the Icelandic team. Commiserations to the London teams who didn't quite have enough juice today. Same with Amsterdam Mosquitoes, the Snowballs, the Turtles, and the Cannes Blockbusters all winning. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here.
It has indeed. And thank you to everyone joining us in the chat. I see that we have Grandmaster Ben Feingold for the Chess Club and Classic Center in Atlanta screaming Puffins, Puffins, Puffins. We've got some commiserations for the youngster who was availing himself so well, only to end up losing in the time scramble. Just some really inspiring play there. And I really agree with you, Lawrence, about Bacrot, because he actually played 2 of the best games of the day after such an awful start.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
hero to hero here.
He went from 0 to hero. Yes, I've just been informed that we'll not stop just yet. Let's just review this last position here, Jen. Because 91 check, a few people in the chat were like, well, why did White resign? He still had 4 seconds. Well, the problem was that after a move like king h1, Black was
king h2 allows rook takes g2 check, right? So exactly. King h1.
And now, probably quite simply, knight f2 check, king h2, and a move like knight e4. And it's just very, very unpleasant for White to play this position. Although, to be totally honest, I think he should have played on here, because what has he got to lose? If he resigns, he loses anyway. He's got an outside chance, but Black's pieces are just dominating.
I wonder if he hallucinated that like rook takes g2 was winning no matter what.
Yeah, it could
maybe
be
something
also.
Like that.
Could be as well. Just
yeah, because also he had 4 seconds left. He can like barely make the move in time.
No, absolutely. So
Keb 2012 says he wants a shout out. What am I supposed to do? Shout out?
Shout out. Hi, shout out. Who else have we got in the chat? We want to say a big thanks to the likes. Well, I'm going to say a big thanks personally to ChessBay94. If you don't know who ChessBay94 is, ChessBay is a huge cog in this Chess.com community and the chess community, a big supporter who's donated very generously, who has been very active in the chat, and a real community member. Without people like ChessBay, this wouldn't exist. Simple as that. So shout out to ChessBay for being so cool in the chat. Shout out to everybody else as well who has been on their best behavior. We've had a very clean chat for once, and it's been great. People are asking who's doing the Atlantic commentary. That is a good question. Who is doing the Atlantic commentary? I'm going to bring it up for you right now, guys. How about that? The Atlantic commentary today is no less than Danny Wrench and Robert Hess. Now, these guys are getting set up. We're going to go over to them shortly. But Danny Wrench and Robert Hess, the dream team, they will be commentating the Atlantic. And then you've got David Pruess and the inimitable, that's the first time I've ever said that word correctly, inimitable, Ben Feingold, going to be talking you through the Pacific Division.
Oh my God, those are going to be such great shows, Lauren.
Amazing shows. And we've got great players. I mean, think about all the players, all the top US players. We've got the Chess Bras. The Chess Bras are up next. They are going to be trying to kick some ass. Am I allowed to say that? I just did.
Nope, but too late.
Too late. It's late enough here. It's past the kiddies' bedtimes. Okay.
But
So
yes, it really is. It really is just a pleasure following these games as well as commenting on them. Also, shout out to everybody who gave us a link on Twitter, including Grandmaster Christian Carilla, who I've done commentary with in St. Louis. He says that our commentary was cracking. I'm pretty sure that's a compliment.
That's a very English compliment. I don't know where Christian got that, having lived in the US for the past few years. But anyway, thanks everybody again. I'm being informed that it's time to hand over to the one and only Danny Wrench. So from myself and from Jen, for this week, it's goodbye. But we will be back same time next week. Looking forward to seeing you then. Cheers, guys.
Can't wait. Pass it over.